And who cares, bro? I'm just gonna look at you.
This is my room's a mess. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back with another episode of The Messy Room. As always, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Vic with my guy Jason.
What's up, everybody? What's up?
And as always, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta like, subscribe, and comment some great shit, ladies and gentlemen. But ladies and gentlemen, this week we have an amazing guest.
Bro, an amazing guest, bro. Yo, this man literally, you could probably talk about anything that you could think about, bro. Chemistry,
Anything.
bro. Like any sciences, bro. Anything, bro. Random shit, literally. Random shit. We're about to have a crazy ass episode.
The craziest question you want to ask, just
bro.
Ask, because he knows the answer, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo,
I'm telling you, he's a beast. He's awesome.
He calls himself a jack of all trades. He just cares about all knowledge, bro. Yo, this is the Perpetual Polymath, bro.
My guy, bro. How you doing, brother?
How's it going? How's it going, you guys? Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yo, what's up, man? Finally have someone who has a better beard than Vic, bro.
I know, bro. I'm kind of jealous, man.
They're all unique. They're all unique, all right? Each his own.
Yeah,
I got to grow that mustache, bro. I'm slacking on the stash, bro. It's awesome. Awesome to have you, bro. Awesome to have you, bro. How you doing? How you feeling, bro? How's Cali out there? You're from Cali, right?
Yeah. Out here in California, everything's great. I mean, it's all relative, right? I mean, it's kind of crazy everywhere. So,
yeah.
I mean, what's normal now is kind of, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, I seen something, bro. New Zealand hasn't had like a case of corona in like 100 days or something like that. So they're doing awesome, bro.
Yeah. It's interesting to see kind of how different nations and different areas of the world are kind of handling on their own. So it's really unique to kind of get different perspectives of how different areas are handling it compared to us, compared to all over the world.
Yeah,
for sure, bro. For sure, man.
Honestly, I seen this dude on Twitter, bro. Like, I was just following him like a couple, like I don't know, it was like, I think it was like March or something like that. Mm-hmm. I was like, yo, this dude's tweeting some crazy shit about like random stuff. It was like animals and everything. I was like, all right, this is pretty interesting. I followed him and I hit him up. I was like, yo, bro, like you seem like you know a lot of shit. Like, I introduced myself and then I asked him like, what the hell is a polymath, bro? So yo, let everybody know what a polymath is.
So polymath, I mean, it's pretty much just it's somebody that has a wide range of knowledge, somebody that studies a lot of things, not just one thing. You got people that they try and be specific. They try and really delve into one topic, one subject. A polymath, it's going to be somebody that's a broad range, many things, a lot of things, everything. So it's not just one thing. It's kind of just learning as much as you can about a broader range of things.
Yeah. Okay.
I definitely think like, bro, this is gonna be perfect, bro. Cause the messy room, bro. I'm telling you, we try to talk about everything and anything, bro. So it doesn't matter, bro. That's why I was like, oh man, bro, this is gonna be awesome, dude.
Yeah, he's lying, bro. He was nervous, bro. He was like, yo, I don't know, bro. If I could talk, bro, I don't know.
That's not true, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys watch the show, if you know me personally, I don't shut the fuck up. I'm always talking, bro.
That is true. That is
true. So yeah. No, but yo, like, so polymath, bro, you want to know everything. You want to know the knowledge of everything. But it's funny, bro, because I don't want to get this wrong, but your Twitter, bro, is just trying to learn a thing or two. All casual, bro. And then I was like, just trying to learn a thing or two. And then I was scrolling down your Twitter, bro. And I was like, oh man, this man, thing or two, bro. This man knows it all, bro. That just made me laugh, bro, personally, bro.
I mean, that's the thing is, to be 100% honest with you, I'm not an expert in anything. I don't know everything. I mean, I'm not trying to be out here, trying to pretend like I know everything because I don't. That's kind of the position I'm taking is I'm just trying to learn a thing or two. I'm just trying to learn it all. You know what I mean? Yeah, so like, with my Twitter account and all that, I'm just trying to spark curiosity. I'm not trying to be a source of knowledge, really. I'm just trying to get people to be curious, trying to get them to, maybe stumble upon stuff that they normally wouldn't have before. So honestly, I'm just trying to, keep it light, like you said, trying to keep it simple. So to be honest with you, you guys call me expert, like I know everything, but the truth is I don't. I'm just your regular person. I'm just maybe really curious, just trying to learn, but other than that, just trying to, spark curiosity, really.
Yeah.
So a question I have, bro, is what's the goal with all the knowledge, man, that you're trying to just capture, bro? You trying to just share it for the world? Are you trying to learn it for yourself, or what's the deal, bro?
It's gonna be both, you know. It's gonna be both. I wanna learn myself. I want to help other people learn. So, I mean, you know, obviously it's all started with myself learning, because if I don't want to do it for myself, then there's kind of nothing really gonna be there. So, you know, I mean, it's me. I'm learning for myself, and kind of the cool things that I stumble upon, the cool things that I discover in my research and reading and all that. I kind of like to share on Twitter there. And I mean, so far it's been really cool and really, really positive.
Definitely, bro. What's like a day look like for you, bro? You just like having like 6 books open, you're trying to find the gems, or you're just taking it day by day, reading a book at a time? How's that work, bro?
I mean, it's kind of anywhere I can get it, you know. Like, I mean, I'm doing things like I'm listening to podcasts as much as I can. I'm watching like YouTube as much as I can. Documentaries that you can find, you know, pretty much anywhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
obviously reading. I mean, I read every day, as much as I can. So I mean, anywhere I can get it, anywhere I can find it, I'm there for it.
Bro, that's that. So like, I remember there was a time, bro, in my life, bro. I always tell Jason, it was when I was bald, right? And I was reading every day. I was meditating. I thought I was like going through the universe and I was going to find something crazy. And I just like, I kind of slowed down. So what's that like? How do you just keep going? You just find the most interesting things, or you just kind of like force yourself to do it?
So like a lot of people ask me like, you know, does it get boring? Like does certain things get boring like that? And honestly, it doesn't, because of the whole polymath aspect of a wide range of things. I'm looking at so many different things and I'm studying different things that never gets boring, because I'm never really spending a ton of time on one subject and kind of bouncing all over the place. Okay. So like, for example, like I don't really get bored with reading, because I mean, I'm reading like 3-4 books at a time sometimes. And so it keeps me from kind of getting stale maybe, or kind of keeping me from getting overwhelmed in one subject. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some subjects that I still want to learn from and that I've been learning from. But I mean, I kind of try and bounce all over the place as much as I can, and that kind of keeps it fresh.
Yeah, I feel that, man. Like there was a time where I was telling Jason, like Jason was like, "Oh, have you read this book?" And I was like, "Dude, I read pieces of this book. I read pieces of that book." I'm always jumping around. I feel like I've read a lot, but I just haven't finished like full books like that. You know what I mean?
I mean,
I'm
you
always
gotta finish
just
the
like,
books that you read, bro.
yeah.
Yo, how many books do you finish? Like, do you finish your books, or do you just usually start them and drop them off?
No, you know, it's funny that he says that, because I usually finish my books. I mean, even if I'm not exactly feeling it, it's just kind of one of those things about me. But
Yeah.
but honestly, I'm not lying. It's a good thing that you feel that way about not needing to finish a book, because if you can get what you want out of that book in whatever amount of time it takes you,
Yeah.
that's a win. That's a win. You know what I mean? If you pick up a book and you read half of it, a quarter of it, any portion of it, as long as you get what you need out of that book, that's a win, and that's a positive thing. So don't ever worry about finishing books. Don't let people tell you need to finish a book, you know, like that. Like, I mean, obviously, if you like it, finish it. Do what you got to do, but it's not a must. You don't need to sit there and finish every single book you start, because one thing, you're just never going to read every single book that's ever been made.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
wish, dude.
There's so many books
wish,
coming
man.
out at the same time. Like, there's books coming out right now
Yeah.
that you have to read, and then all the books in history already made, bro.
So I
Crazy.
swear that's like a dream I've had, bro, where like I'm just in the middle of a library and all the books just start floating and
Yo,
I'm just
for real,
gaining
me
all this
too.
knowledge, bro. That's the dream I have, bro. I want, like, just like you, bro, similar to you, I want to like know and learn everything, bro. I think you said something on your Twitter where it's like people have this desire just to know, like, and I was like, yes, bro, that's true. Cause I'd be like, even if I don't know something, like, I don't know if you've ever seen The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. I don't know if you're a movie guy. You seen that movie? You know, where he's like, all right, wait. He's like, I'm the kind of guy that if I don't know the answer, I'm gonna try to find it. That's how I think I am. Like, if I don't know something, I'm gonna tell you, nah, I don't know. But then I'm gonna like be interested to find out what was to know. You know what I mean? And that's just how I live, bro. And Jason, that's why me and Jason are very different, bro. And like he'll be diving into his like science, bro, and I'll be like, what's this?
I mean,
What's
I dive
that? What's
into a
this?
lot of shit too, though. I mean, I don't know what your backstory is, but when I first, I feel like I'm like similar to you. I like to read mad shit. I've like gotten into like a lot of what schools taught me too. like raising myself up, like I got interested in chemistry at a young age. That's kind of why I went into that like pathway. Now I've been studying chemical engineering, so I learned a lot of like those kinds of properties, which is cool because I've seen that you post a lot about like properties about fluid mechanics and shit like that, which is like basically what I learned in school. So I was interested, like what do you do as a profession yourself?
Oh, it's just a normal day job, man. Just nothing fancy. It's just your run of the mill job, which again is all just kind of all part of it. It's kind of what's funny is I don't have a special job. People think like they think I'm some kind of like a school teacher or something like that, or like a professor, especially online. But I'm not. Just like I'm just a regular person. I'm just average Joe. You know what I mean? So I kind of like it because I mean, anybody can do this, and that's what's awesome.
Exactly. I mean, bro, the knowledge in this world is it's endless. Literally, you could learn about anything. Like if you wanted to learn about cars, you could learn the ins and outs about cars. If you want to learn about the universe, ins and outs about the universe, it's just, bro, the things you could learn is crazy. I think that's probably the most important thing is to continue learning, no matter what you're doing, no matter what your job is, no matter, just learn as much as you can. Like Jason always says, you want to be a jack of all trades. Like if you want to learn how to build a sword, you can build a fucking sword. Like it's just, bro. I think people in general get stuck with just like being comfortable, knowing what they know, and living their everyday lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
You
definitely
know what I
think
feel too is that a lot of people like after they graduate school, they kind of just give up on learning. Like that was it. Like whatever I learned in school and that was it. And they don't explore for more knowledge, bro.
or if like learning is like some kind of like burden, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's just like a
Yeah.
thing where like, oh
Yeah.
man, I don't want to learn, bro. Like
Yeah.
I can't see it
Like
that way, man.
like the stereotypes that the nerd is the person that's getting bullied and everything. Like you don't want to be the nerd, bro, because you're gonna get bullied and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be 100% honest with you, like I hated school. I hated it because
Me too, bro.
yeah, it wasn't necessarily even the learning part. It was the I hated being told what to learn. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like they have the curricular and they're like, this is what you got to learn. And I'm like, that's not what I'm interested in.
That's it, bro. You said it perfect, but that's exactly how I feel. I'm telling you, when I was in high school, bro, I used to be like, like I don't know, I'd be doing like some type of class I wouldn't like, right? And I'd be like, hey, miss, it's nothing against you, but it's just, I know I'm like, I don't want to learn this. Like, I want to learn something else. Like, I want to learn like history, or I wanted to learn like, English or something. You know what I mean? I didn't want to learn like specific things that they made me like, forced me to be in class, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever, how long class is. And I was just like, bro, like, I like if schools honestly gave you the choice to like learn a whole bunch of stuff that you wanted to learn, I think I would have been in school every day, bro. I wouldn't have been fucking around and skipping school, whatever I was doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, and I mean, a big part of it is that like, you always get that one teacher that makes it fun and that makes you interested. And so like, when I say that schooling was trying to teach me things that I wasn't interested in, it wasn't the teachers, it was just the curriculum. You know what I mean? Because I mean, teachers are severely underrated, especially in today's. I mean, they're so important. It's just that teachers need to be given a little bit more support by a whole different means. I mean, financially, they need more support.
Yeah, I mean the jobs get paid so little too.
It does. Teachers get severely underpaid, and it's so important. So, I mean, they need a little bit more freedom, because if you can kind of get those teachers to have their personalities come out, they're going to be able to teach kids in a much more graspable way, where they're having fun and they want to continue their knowledge and want to continue to learn.
Yeah,
and I just think it's severely underappreciated.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, because I felt like that myself. Like I had a teacher that just like, I had two really teachers that sparked like want to learn in science. Like I honestly, I'm way more focused in science, but I have like ventured into philosophy and everything because it's like interesting. It applies to, I like that. It just applies to everything. Anybody can think about that kind of shit. But yeah, I had a teacher that just sparked mad. Like I now I just want to learn, and I read mad shit like all the time. I'm trying to learn something every single day. I've been practicing equations and shit like that. I don't know why I've been wanting to do that, but that's what I've been doing.
I legit will call Jason and be like, yo, Jason, what does this mean? Or what does this mean of the world, bro?
Yo.
What do you think of this, bro? Like,
Yeah.
what was the thing I called? I called you something about the moon, bro.
Yeah, he was like, yo, why is the moon like sometimes look closer and sometimes look farther? And I didn't know at all, but because he trusts that I know, like he usually asks me a question, I always have an answer. I just started talking. I was like, well, I mean, I think it's because the moon, you know, is far away, and then like gravitational field. I don't know. Like, I made up some bullshit, and he just believed me.
Yeah, that's how.
Yeah,
it is, bro.
yeah. You got to be careful though, because that's
Yeah.
kind of on a grand scheme of things. You know, a lot of people, they kind of do that. You know, you get people that they sound like they know what they're talking about, or they
Yeah.
look like they know what they're talking about. So I mean, a big part of this is the process of learning, because you're gonna when you learn it yourself, you're gonna know, and you're gonna have an opinion of yourself, and you're just gonna be able to have better grasp of things when things like that come up. Someone's gonna try and, you know, say that it's for some other reason like magic or something. You're gonna be like, nah, bro,
Nah.
no, that's not why. That's
Yeah.
not why.
Right,
So
man.
yeah, and it's fun because when you know, one of the things about learning is like when you do it for so long and you just continue to do it, you're gonna reach this point where your knowledge is gonna overlap. And so you're going to be able to pull from different aspects of what you are learning from
Yeah.
to come up with a more complete picture of what you're talking about. And it just opens up this whole other world where it's just awesome. It's just
Yeah.
a great feeling.
It's like you can see, like you have a different set of eyes when you use
Yeah.
the knowledge that you've accumulated. You could just see things in a different way.
Totally, absolutely.
I also like when I'm learning, right? I like the idea. I think of it like a puzzle, right? I think that like when you start something, you don't know shit, bro. It's all scattered around and you just, you know, you're trying to find the pieces. But then once it starts clicking and you start finding the pieces and you start going, it like triggers something in your head where it's like, oh man, I'm getting it. Oh, this is what this meant. Like a week ago, I didn't even know what the fuck this meant. You know what I mean? And I like that. I like that feeling of like discovery. It's like the feeling of like, you figured something out for yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like that feeling right there is like something that I want to like try to like teach, or like something I want to try to like show people that like, it's cool as shit, that you should be trying to get that feeling all the time. You know what I mean? And I think that's why, like, you know, this podcast, bro, I have it as, you know, we have it as a way of expression, bro. And I want to express, like, if I find something cool, I'm put it in on this podcast. Yo, whatever I'm watching, whatever I'm reading, I'm gonna try to just talk about it. And because I want other people to, you know, like similar to you, like you were saying, like, you know, if someone wants to just cross paths with something cool that you post on Twitter, bro, that's like the goal that I have for this podcast. Like for example, like, you know, we're from, you know, Massachusetts, right? And, you know, not a lot of people from Massachusetts will know your Twitter page, right? But your Twitter page is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
And,
like,
or just to, like, even just him talking right now, what you can say is a different perspective from somebody that has like had a love for learning. And I feel like, you know, when you're younger, like you don't care. Like I was in school too. I didn't give a fuck about school. I didn't try to do good in school. I just like was good at taking tests. So I was like, you know, I got good grades, but I didn't care about the stuff that I was learning until like there was like a point. I don't know. I feel like 2017 was that year that I like turned on and I just like started reading shit. Like that's when I read like 1984 for the first time. And I was
Great
like,
book.
damn,
Yeah.
bro, that book
Yeah.
was crazy. I was like, damn, this opens up my perspective.
that
So
book had me.
like, okay, so you get that book, right? So you read it,
Yeah.
and so now when it comes up in pop culture, because it's gonna, and
Yeah,
it
for
does,
sure.
you're gonna have a whole new appreciation for every reference that comes across, you know, your platform there, because you're gonna understand it in a way that people don't understand it, because they just think of it as a meme. Like, oh, I get it, 1984, Big Brother, I get it, so and so. But you're like, no. Have you read it?
Yeah.
If you read
Like-
it, you're gonna understand what they're truly talking about. So then every time you see it from then on, you're gonna be like, holy shit.
Yeah, like that Big Brother is like they're in your
Dude.
house.
Yeah.
Basically,
Correct.
and you like he
Yes.
has like a corner where he can write for himself, bro. Like
Yes.
where he has
Yes.
no like even that you can't conspire against like the country and shit, and they have like the
Yep.
war going on all the time just to like keep people like in constant fright, like that whole. And it's like I think it's crazy because
War is
the
peace,
reason,
peace is war.
yeah, I think
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the reason I got into that book was because my girl was taking like a dystopian class, like a dystopian book class. So she had like all of them. I was like, yo, and she had bought them. I was like, yo, let me get them. And I started reading them. I think the other one I read was A Brave New World too. Like those,
Brave New World, yeah.
I think that's when I started opening up to like how a dystopian world is like crazy, like different world, but that like it could apply to like some of those properties in those worlds apply to what we have right now too. And like it opens up. That's why I think why I was saying that learning opens up a different set of eyes. You can see how like, oh, the government sometimes does kind of do shit like the NSA looking at our shit.
The Snowden thing.
There
The
you
Snowden
go.
shit,
Yeah,
boom.
exactly.
Like that's real
Yeah.
shit. It applies to the
Yeah.
book, and that book was written so long
Yeah.
ago. Like, and it opens up, and you can start looking at, yo, you connect the pieces to the real world, to what you're learning and reading and shit like that.
I remember when I read that book. I listened to that book and I read it in high school. And I remember that was like one of the first assignments where I was like, oh man, this is a great book. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh man, what's going on? And like for a little bit, I was kind of like tweaking when I was reading that book. Like I would like look behind my shoulder.
Bro.
I was like, oh man, I was like, the government's listening to me, man. I can't conspire, bro. It was crazy. I was like, oh shit, dude. But yeah, nah, I'm telling you that book is probably one of the greatest books. I don't want to say the greatest book ever written, but it is like you have to read that book.
It's like one of those.
It's
books,
a must.
Like if you search up on Google, must read this. It's in those top 10 right there, bro.
Yeah,
I tell people all day that's a must read, you know. And I mean, it gets kind of a bad rap because it's an older book and it's a little, it's used as a meme a lot, you know what I mean? And it's like it's so much more than that. Like it's I tell people all the time that it is required reading, but I mean, it's not exactly pro-government, so it's going to get a lot of pushback from whoever. But yeah, it's definitely up there on those books that everybody needs to read that book.
That's what I'm saying. I think so. I was telling Jason, like, I searched up like the 100 greatest books ever written, and I was like, I want to go through that like 100 list.
Got it, bro.
I was like, I got to go through that 100 book list because like one day I want to write my own book, like, and I want to just like my ideas, I want it to be put on like paper and like for people to read and stuff for like generations to come. And I was like, these people are considered like the GOATs, bro. You know what I mean? And I was like, I have to learn from these like the greatest of all time, like Shakespeare, bro. Like oh man, Shakespeare's. Bro, Othello. I don't know if you guys ever read Othello, bro. It's one of the greatest books ever written. Macbeth, bro. Like all these books, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys gotta read them. But I'm telling you, like I was like, I gotta read all these books, like the GOAT books, like. And I feel like within like when I was younger, I was like, oh, reading's whack. You know what I mean? Reading is dumb. But then as I grew and I started reading, I feel like you're living someone else's life and ideas while you read, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like. It's someone else's like ideology written and someone else's perspective written. And it's just like, it's like you get invested into that world. And then when you get out of it, you grow as a person, bro. That's how I feel, bro.
I mean, TV is kind of the same thing. You watch TV, you get invested into that world of what it is. But that's why, I mean, you could get addicted to TV though. I'd rather read books.
Nah, I think TV's cool, but like I think TV you gotta find the channels, bro. Like something like I don't know, like MTV, bro. I feel like that's gonna mess up a few brain cells, bro, in my head, bro.
It's just like junk, bro.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, there's nothing wrong with watching TV. Like I'm not trying to sit here and say you need to read 24/7. Like I watch TV too. It's all about balance. You know, you got to find it. And the most important is you got to enjoy it, because if you're reading it and you're not enjoying it, 1, you're not going to learn from it. 2, you're not going to remember it. And 3, you're probably not even going to finish it.
You're not going to be investing in it at all, bro. You're just going to, it's going to be one of these whatevers, bro. It's just like a thing where I'm not saying TV's bad. I'm just saying like, I feel like a productive day for me is a day without TV, because I feel like when I watch TV, I'm just chilling there watching TV, hanging out, bro, and I'm usually watching sports or something. You know what I mean? And I understand sports don't matter, bro, at all. They're just playing a game.
I mean, but it's don't matter to like, what do you mean don't matter?
Like in like my life, like, you know what I mean? Like
if you like it.
Yeah, if you're enjoying it, then you're taking something from it then you're getting what you want out of it, which is enjoyment. So don't knock it for that. Like you're enjoying yourself. Like I watch sports too. I'm a pretty big sports fan. You just gotta take what you want.
What's your favorite
from
sport? What kind of sports you watch?
Probably the biggest one's probably football. I like football a lot, but
Okay.
What's your team, bro?
What's your team, bro? What's your team, bro?
It's good. It's gonna be the 49ers.
You
I
got our
know,
backup
I
QB.
know.
You got our backup QB.
Nah, it's cool.
Yeah,
bro.
I know, right?
Jimmy G is coming back, and he's coming back to New England, bro. This year, hopefully this year, if everything goes well, bro. He comes back to New England first time, bro. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see how this year goes, and depending on how he does this year, a lot will happen.
Yeah. I think honestly, like I think Jimmy G, not being biased. Like if I'm being biased, Cam Newton's the best quarterback in the league. But if I'm not being biased, I'm gonna say Jimmy G he'll win a couple championships in San Francisco, bro. That team is nice. Your coach is nice. Your defense is nice. But if I'm being biased, Pats Nation all day, every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it, man. Like, I mean, the Niners Super Bowl window is wide open right now, and so you gotta imagine that, like, they're smart enough to just know that we have to push real hard right now because that window doesn't stay open for long.
That's
so
what
I
I'm
think
saying.
that this year, the next couple of years, they're gonna push super hard to try and get that ring. But I mean, Belichick, man, the guy works magic. Like the guy does things that nobody else can do. Like he just does whatever he wants.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. And he just like, bro, like time and time again, he'll draft like a random ass tight end or something random. And I'm like, what are you doing, bro? And then Jason always goes, bro, you gotta trust Bill, bro. Trust Bill, bro. And then something crazy always happens.
That somebody from Cali still has the same respect for Belichick, bro.
So let me ask you this, and you have to be 100% honest.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
100% honest. You're not just a little bit worried about how Tom's gonna do compared to how Belichick's gonna do now that they're split.
I think you're talking.
I mean,
about
I want all the best for Tom. You know, like I love Tom Brady. He's been the quarterback. Like I grew up with Tom Brady, literally, bro.
Tom Brady is the only quarterback I've ever
obviously
seen.
I want him to do good, and now he has Gronk with him too. Like that's literally the only two jerseys I have in my closet are a Brady jersey and a Gronk jersey. So seeing them, I mean, I want them to do good, but bro, trust him, Bill. I feel like the Pats are still gonna do nice, bro.
I think, all right, so I'm not going to take away from Tom Brady. He's the GOAT, bro. You know, I always say he's my dad, bro. But he's a beast for sure. But I'll definitely say he is the GOAT for a reason. That's why he was number one in the NFL 100 list or whatever. But I think Bill Belichick is a big reason why Tom Brady is the GOAT, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Hey, the good news is we're going to find out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. True. Yeah. Finally, bro. We're going to – Stephen A. and all these dudes are going to – Shannon Sharp, they're all going to stop talking about it.
First weeks you see one tanking, bro. That's it. That's it. It was because of the other one.
Yeah.
That's how it always is, bro.
The first incompletion that Tom Brady throws, they're going to be like, see, it was system. It was a system. It was all system.
I think Tom Brady's trying to bait us, bro, because he tweeted something like, "Oh, the Tampa Bay playbook is kind of hard to learn." I was like, "Come on, man, you can't throw people that bone, bro." And everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, it's because he doesn't have Belichick, bro, the greatest coach, man." I'm telling you, bro. He threw. I definitely think he like tweeted that on purpose so that people will like just start talking about him, and then when he does nice, if there's even an NFL season, right? Then he could just be like this, chilling, all cool, you know what I mean? All relaxed. I mean, I don't know, bro. I think oh man, you got me into sports, bro. I can talk about that shit all fucking day, bro.
Yeah, we gotta cut him right there because he'll just talk for like 30 for like an hour straight.
So here we go. So my understanding is that humans are the only species to play games. We're the only ones that will participate in something with no ultimate goal.
But I thought I saw something about like monkeys gambling. Like they like taught monkeys how to use currency, and then they instantly started like gambling and shit like that.
Well, but that's taught, right?
Okay.
That was taught to them by humans. But like, I mean, we've been playing like when it comes to games, like there's been theories about like, you know, why we do it. Like, why do we play games? If there's no ultimate goal, then what's the point? And a lot of things
time.
That's definitely one thing, to pass time, to learn valuable skills. You know what I mean? Without hurting, because it's like, you know, like a big interest in mine, and probably one of my most liked fields is going to be like anthropology, right?
Okay.
So like,
Yo, could you explain what that is? Honestly, I don't even know what that is.
So anthropology is going to be like the study of people, study of humans.
Oh, okay. I think that's what the dude that helped us make the
Juan
teaser
Araldo,
trailer. Yeah, Juan, yeah. He studied anthropology.
Yeah, that it's awesome. It's such an important field because it branches off into so many other fields of study just from that, because it's us. It's us as people, and it goes back for generations to generations to the beginning of time. And so studying that will spark your curiosity of things, uncountable number of other subjects. It's awesome.
Is that what you started off with?
It isn't. So the first thing I started off with would be history. So I started off with history.
Okay.
That's kind of was my initial kind of really interested in. So I started history, and then it kind of morphed into, well, history. How far back is that? Let's go back to the beginning of humanity.
Beginning of man, at least.
Exactly, the beginning of man. That's where our history as we know it starts, right?
Yeah.
So then when I got there, then it kind of turned into anthropology, study of people. Went from there, then it went to science.
Sociology will come from anthropology.
Sociology,
probably.
Exactly. You know, sociology, and then it turned into like philosophy, and then it turned into so it just grew from there. So I mean, that's what's awesome, is you kind of start in one area, and it just turns into just an unlimited possibilities.
Yeah. Yo, how many books do you think you've read in your life?
Oh, I don't know. Probably hundreds, couple hundreds.
Couple hundred?
Couple hundred, yeah.
I don't think I've read 100 books before. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm at like 50.
Yeah,
like,
because I really didn't start reading books. Like, I think I've probably been able to read like now up to 10 books in a year. Like that's the most. So like, and that's been for the past 4 years. So that's at least 40. Before that, I probably read like 15 because from when I was younger. So maybe like 55 books. Yeah. So
we gotta get those stats up. Dude.
Yeah, we gotta get those stats.
No, see, you don't. Don't worry about how fast you're reading. Don't worry about what speed. Don't worry about how many books you're reading. Just make sure that what you are reading, that you're comprehending, and that you're keeping. Because what's the point of reading a book in a couple of days if you're not going to remember anything about it?
Okay.
So you got to be able to retain. You got to be able to retain what you're learning. So you got to go at a pace that's comfortable for you. Now that being said, the more that you read, the faster you're going to get. When I started reading, oh, dude, I was so slow. I was a slow reader.
Me too.
And
man.
it is what it is. You know what I mean? But just like anything else, the more you do it, the more you practice, the better you're going to get. The next thing you know, you're going to be so much faster than you used to be.
I think I could read. I'm reading like 25 pages in 45 minutes, because I read like for 45-minute segments because I can't really focus for that long. But I just try to read multiple times a day. So that's like, I don't know. Is that how quick is that? Is that fast?
No, that's great. I mean, if that works for you, that works for you. I mean, everybody's different. I mean, I know people that can. I mean, you heard of speed readers.
Yeah,
speed
readers can read like 300 pages or some shit.
Yeah. They can go upwards of reading a page every like 30 seconds, which is insane. Like, I don't even know how you retain that, but it's just one of those things where the human brain, given the right circumstances and the right practice, can do anything. I'm not nearly that fast, but I try and keep pace as much as I can. But I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll read some, like, I'll read a novel, right? Something light, something simple. I'll bust that thing really easy. I'll finish it in a day or so, a couple days. I get one of like my science books. I get something dense, some of a subject that I haven't read before, and all of a sudden my reading speed just plummets because it's just because I'm trying to comprehend it. I'm trying to remember it. I'm trying to think about it.
You go into the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Or just like sit there and read a sentence and then just stare off and be like, what did I just read? Like, wait a minute, what? like it's all fluid. It all changes. It just depends on what you read, you know?
Yeah, I feel that, man. Nah, I definitely understand that. Cause I remember one day, like I was reading, how was I reading? I was reading like a finance book. I forgot what it's called. Oh man, I'm like investment something. I don't Intelligent Investor. Is that what I don't know. But I was like reading it, and dude, the language and like the way it was written, I was like, I would read a sentence and I would just like be holding my head, and my head was like hot, bro, and I was just stressing like what. And then I would like Google like the words, and then I'd be like, okay, try to piece it together. And I was just like, geez, and it took like probably like 10, 15 minutes to read a page, dude. I was like, oh man, and I was diving into the rabbit hole and just going in a cycle and cycle and cycle. I think I still haven't finished that book. It's just so big and so wordy and so like intricate. It's just, bro, I'm telling you. But I don't know. That's definitely something. I definitely like when I'm reading and I'm just picking it up like this, but I honestly like when I'm struggling like that too, because I know there's going to be a point where it all clicks to me. You know what I mean? There's going to be that point. I definitely.
Yeah, no, there's definitely books where like the author changes everything. Because there's some authors that keep the writing simple so that you can read through it easy, that it's a nice, easy, light read. And you get some of these authors that they like using big words, and they like using analogies, and they like using metaphors, and they like using flowery language. And I mean, I appreciate it, and it's all important, and it all kind of makes the book what it is, but it's going to slow you down in a big, big way. Because like you said, I do exactly what you said. I'll stop when I find a word and be like, I have never seen this word. I have no idea what it means. And so you're going to sit there and you're going to take, a couple of minutes to Google what that word is. And it all just adds to the whole experience of reading the book.
Yep. I think, so I haven't read all her books, but J.K. Rowling, bro, I think she makes it so simple, yet so descriptive. Yeah. It feels like while you're reading it, you're watching a movie. Like I could picture every.
Bro, literally, it's so close to it. Like actually watching the movies and reading the books. It's really close to it too.
That's what I'm saying. Like I still have to finish that series. Like, but it's definitely like where I was picking up the Sorcerer's Stone. I was like, oh man, this is great stuff. You know what I mean? I'm just breezing through it, and I'm also just like really engaging with this book, and like I'm literally watching it like if it's a movie. Obviously, there's movies out there, but it's like I'm watching my own depiction of what she's saying, bro. And it was crazy. So I think she's a GOAT. I haven't finished all the books, but I think she's a GOAT just because she made me feel that way, And I think like if a book or movie or whatever makes you feel some type of way, like it makes you like jump or makes you, you know what I mean? It makes you like feel something. I think that's when the author did a great job, like the greatest, bro.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like you know, it's a good author on any subject if it makes you, have some feels, right? Like, if it gets you kind of choked up or something, or gets you to think a certain way, or scares you, like they've done their job. They've done what they were supposed to do, which is make you experience something using just words. I mean, think about that. Think about how like they've reached you emotionally using nothing but words on a piece of paper. Like that's powerful.
That's what's insane, man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm telling you that I think that's what makes like the difference between, like, there could be a book that like really, like I really learned something, but it won't top something that made me feel anything within that book. Like, even if it's like anger, like I remember I was reading a book called, A War Against All Puerto Ricans. It's like a book about how the United States colonized Puerto Rico and all this. And there was like a section of it where they're just like a doctor. It's like a doctor's note. And it's like a doctor from the U.S. talking about like Puerto Ricans in the 30s. And he was talking about them like, oh, these dirty, animals or whatever he's saying. And I was just like, what? Oh, man, what is this guy saying? And it was like, I was so I was so mad and I was so angry, but I was like, I was breathing through the whole book, like so angry. And I was on the train and I was just like, and I looked around me and some lady was like, what the hell are you doing, bro? And I was like, oh, you know what I mean? You had to like calm yourself down. Like, I forgot where I was. And I think that's what I'm saying. That book really made me feel something. Like I was so angry. Like it just, like I blew up. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what makes books amazing. But just to go back to, because it's in my head, just to go back to what you were saying, like why we play games. why we play, like, as humans, why we like we just do things and we just do them because we want to do them. I think a big reason why we do them is just to distract our minds, because we are trying to not think of what's inside our head all the time. So we have to find reasons to not think what's inside our heads all the time.
Oh yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that there's a big part of distraction, distracting yourself, distracting the mind. Because if you sit there and you try and self-contemplate long enough, like, you're gonna get messed up.
Yeah.
So it's totally an outlet. I mean, it's an outlet probably. It's an outlet mentally. It's an outlet physically. You know, I release some of that energy. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's definitely probably just, you gotta get your mind off something. I mean, coming back to you watching sports, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta just give yourself a break and just kind of turn the brain off and zone out. And sports is a perfect example of that.
I definitely think that, like, the law of diminishing returns, right? You know what that law is? Law of diminishing returns.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty much like when too much of something is a bad thing, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, too much of anything is a bad thing. I think that's probably the thing that, like, people do most. We think so much, especially of stuff that we don't know, like our future, for example. Like, I always tell Jay, that's like something I'm scared of, like, right? I don't want to, like, talk all this nonsense, saying I'm the GOAT, I'm gonna be something, and then all of a sudden, when I get to the end, I never accomplish anything that I said. That's something that, like, scares me, but then I'm like, oh man, I gotta, like, stop thinking about that, because it's like fucking me up, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you can't think about the future. I mean, you can in a certain aspects. I mean, you know, we're one of the only species that can really have that foresight to be able to view into the future like that, using nothing but our minds. But I mean, you gotta live in the moment. You gotta do what you can do now, and you can't really think about that stuff, or else, like you said, it's just gonna get in your own head. But I mean, it's good that you're thinking about it. I mean, use it as motivation. I mean, use it to drive yourself every day, and you're going to do great. You know what I mean?
Damn, bro. It's crazy that you have that perspective, because I feel like somebody that knows a lot of stuff, like, thinks a lot about stuff that they're reading. You know what I mean? So, like, wouldn't you be trying to think and try to connect? All right, like, for me, when I read books, I try to connect maybe one book to another book and see how those properties can apply to what I'm living in the world right now. And I'm always, like, constantly thinking about what I'm reading too and how it applies to the world. Do you not have that same, like, kind of feeling too?
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you know, probably the main reason why I read so much and try and learn so much is to be able to relate with the world. You know what I mean? That's kind of one of my main goals, is just to kind of understand everything. I mean, everybody's going to have different opinions about why we're here. You're going to have, you know, nihilists. You're going to have those people that believe that our existence is completely pointless and that there's no reason for us to be here. But I'm like, you can't, even if you agreed with that, could you even really want to think that way? Like, I don't even care if that's your opinion. That's just a bad way to have an outlook on life. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's funny you bring this up, because I've been, one of the books I just started it in the beginning is all just kind of the philosophy of how to think about life, to kind of think about why we're here. I've kind of decided that I'm more of a naturalist point of view. So naturalist is everything's going to be based on kind of the fundamental fabric of reality, kind of a biological standpoint. You know what I mean? Like, I believe in evolution. You know what I mean? I believe those kinds of things.
Is that the Big Bang too? Is that get involved with
yeah,
the Big Bang?
like the Big Bang. Yeah, exactly. You know, kind of, there's room for religions, there's room for science, there's room for everything. I'm not trying to be here to tell people what to think, because I don't want to do that. I want people to come up with their own opinions about the future, where we're going, where we're coming from. That's all up to you. Just read, get the facts, make your own opinion. I think that's the most important thing, is just make your own opinion about what you want to think and what you want to believe. And don't let other people try and sway you in any direction. Do what you want to do.
I think that's what's, like, I don't want to say it's like a problem, but it's like a thing where it's like with social media, I feel like a lot of people get influenced to think a certain type of way, or to do a certain type of thing. And I feel like us as, like, people, we kind of, like, are treating everything like if it's just a trend. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, like when George Floyd died, like, and Black Lives Matter was, like, at its you know, at the exploding point, it was like a thing where everyone was talking about it.
Yeah.
And now I feel like it's fading away like a trend when it's still like an issue. You know what I mean? It's still like a thing that's
It's
really big in this world.
It's literally, they're trying to make active change every single day, and then people are like, everybody was posting the Blackout Tuesday whatever post, but like now what about it now? Nothing, bro.
I know. Everything's a fad. Everything is given like a specific window of time when it's like that's not one how anything's gonna get done, and two, it's just not gonna work. You know what I mean? Like you gotta think about things on the grand scheme of things. You gotta, like, one of the things right now is like read your history. Right now, it's more important than anything to read your history to understand where all these people are coming from. Because all these people that either don't believe in their plight or just don't agree with it, it's like just read even a little bit and you'll just understand where all this is coming from. Like, true. I mean, like the United States, the beginning of the United States when we first came over here, the whole economy was off of slave labor. Like the whole economy. Like, that's not an opinion, that's fact.
Yeah,
like
true.
You can't argue with that. So like when people are like trying to understand like where they're coming from, that's where they're coming from. They're coming from that. Just read and learn from it. And when you learn, especially history, then you're going to be able to relate better, and you're going to be able to understand where they're coming from, and you'll be able to just be more helpful in this situation.
One thing that I think that it connects really well with what you said at history is through history you can and sociology, you can see the social constructs in history that were built from back in history, the way that the government and everything was set up. Like you can go through the history and as to why they decided to make the government like that, and then through that government, and then with the eyes of sociology too, then you can see, damn, like this is what's holding us back from being ourselves, and like what's making us who we are. Like when you look at sociology, you can find your place in society, and then through history, you can see why you're in that place from all the way back in before.
Yeah, this reminds me of, I'm gonna botch the quote, but it's something like, he who doesn't learn from the past will forever live it, or something like that, something along those lines. I think that's true, right? I think like for example, like something like the market crashing or something like that, right? People are gonna panic, and people are gonna, you know, they're gonna emotionally, they're gonna take out their money out of the, you know, out of their investments or whatever. They're gonna take out their money out of the market. But if you see like throughout history, right, there's a it always goes up and down. Market goes up and down, and if you just know that, you'll understand that like doing like something emotionally, like where you're taking something out of, like taking all your investments out of the market, will like ultimately, like you could be making like way more, because the market's just gonna go flow up and down. And it's also like a thing where you could, like, all right, for example, like, all right, the 60s, right? They were fighting for civil rights. You could learn the 60s and what happened in the 60s, and then you could like essentially use what they did that worked successfully for these like Black Lives Matter protests and things like that. That's, you know what I mean? That's where it relates. But if someone's not learning from their past, it's kind of like a thing where you kind of stay stuck. You kind of just, I feel like you don't move forward.
Yeah, and I mean, like even if, because there's always going to be ignorant people that just don't want to learn. Like they don't want to know the facts. They don't want to know where these, you know, where they're coming from. Mm-hmm. They don't want to know any of that. They just want to be stuck in their ways and who they are. So I mean, even when there's people like that, we can still learn by looking into the history and looking into people about how to move past that and get around it, and how to make change when people just don't want to change in general. I mean, there can just be so much learned about how to go about making change when there's a certain demographic that doesn't want it in the first place. Because there's always going to be that. There's always going to be conflict no matter what. And so a big part of it is just learning how to move past that, continue to move forward, and to get better at all times. And like you said, keeping it from just being a fad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's also like, do you think that like the educational system, like you were saying, teachers have like probably the most important job in this world. Do you think the educational system needs to be like
reform?
Yeah, or like it needs to, because
It
I
needs to
think
change because it's the way that we're learning and everything is been the same for so long, bro. I don't know if you ever read. I think it's Outwit and the Devil, that has like a section of it where they're talking from Napoleon Hill. You never read that?
No.
What, dude? That I feel
Yeah,
like that's
I'll have to look it up.
uh,
What's it called?
Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill.
I gotta read it too, bro.
You've
You
never
told
read
me
that
about
either?
it. You
Yo,
told me about it.
I don't know if you've ever read a Napoleon Hill book before.
No, nope. I am not. So I'm gonna have to do that.
All right. He was a dude in like the 1920s. I don't know if you ever heard of the book Think and Grow Rich.
That's like his probably most famous.
Yeah,
book.
that's like his most famous book. That's like I feel like
that sounds familiar. Yeah.
They call
that's
that
one of
like the Bible of like
Yeah,
finance or whatever.
I feel like that's one of those like top 10. You got to read those books
Okay.
in your life. Like,
See, look, I found a book I need to read. Look, this is awesome.
yeah, there you go. Now, well, that Think and Grow Rich is more about like business and trying to take, what is it? What's the word? What's the word I'm looking for, Vic?
Advantage?
No. When you inventory, something like that. You like take inventory of yourself and try to understand what your capabilities are.
Like
so that
reflect on yourself?
Basically, like reflect so that you can be better for yourself. But in the aspect of like business kind of like that. But that the Outwitting the Devil is more like trying to, like, it's basically the whole premise of the book is Napoleon Hill, or the narrator is having a conversation with the devil, and he's like asking him what is he doing in the world to do what he does to the world. He's saying that only 2% of the people are not in the control of the devil, and 98% are in control of the devil. It's crazy because it's really a philosophy book. In my eyes, it's really just a book about philosophy and how like what you do in your bad habits can make you like control you to who you are and not let you be who you want to be. You know what I mean? Like stuff that, like little stuff like gluttony. Like for example, I eat like eating pizza for a lot, that like actually this is actually a chapter in the book, and all that food that you have stuck in your body makes you slow and your energy drops, so then you can't be as productive as a human being as you want to be. And like stuff like he goes through not just like that, like gluttony, but it goes through all education system, how and this book was written like 100 years ago. I think it was literally like the 1920s is when he was most popular. And he's just like talking about all this shit and how the education system is the same and nobody's actually able to learn from this shit. I don't know. That's a great book. It's a great book. I definitely think you should read that book.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely have to look that up for sure. Yeah, the education system there's so many issues with it. I mean, we can't scrap it completely just because you can never start from square one, but you can definitely break it down and kind of reformulate what needs to be done. I mean, for example, college tuitions are so expensive. Like,
Yeah.
college debt is a huge problem.
It's literally like most people die with college debt, bro.
I know, and I'm like, you can't expect people to come out of college looking for a job with this massive debt. It's just never gonna work.
You
But
also
then on the
can't.
other hand,
Oh, sorry. What were you just saying?
but then like on the other hand, like, you know, not everything is able to work for free either. You know what I mean? Like I'm not 100% sure that free college is gonna be a thing that works either. But affordable college, that should be a thing.
That's for sure.
College to where when you leave you're not in debt, that should definitely be a thing.
And I was gonna say, like, with like affordable college, there could be like a drive for knowledge, like a drive to learn something. It's not like I feel like a lot of people, like when they're thinking about college, the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, it's too expensive. Like, why would I go to that? It's a waste of time. You know what I mean?
100%,
There's a negative
100%.
light on it. And I definitely think like going back to like education, I think to change the world, we have to educate young of what needs to be changed, and then our youth will grow and they will grow up with these ideologies. That's why I think teachers have the most important jobs.
One thing that you were saying too is that the education system, it doesn't really give you a want to learn. Like, it kind of killed, like the Vic was saying earlier, it seems like learning is a burden to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's a big problem, and it like makes it so, like the testing and everything, it makes it so that learning is just to pass this test, or learning is just to get through school and then get a job and then you can chill. Like it's not given to you as like a blessing. Like it really is a blessing that we are the only animals literally on this planet that can read a book from that somebody else, another animal, made and wrote down on like random figures on a piece of paper, and you can look at those random figures and understand their perspective on what they were thinking. And this is like from thousands and thousands of years ago, bro. And like if somebody told me that as a little kid, yo, this is what reading is, I would have been like, damn, bro, that's crazy. I'm looking at the whole world through somebody else's eyes. But it was just like, yo, read this book, understand this metaphor, take this test. Where was the metaphor? Boom. Like that's not what I wanted. That's not what I care about.
It's stupid and pointless, and you're never gonna learn that way, because you're ultimately force feeding people information that they're never gonna retain and don't want to use. I mean, we got to reevaluate everything.
It's like the same way how like I feel like a lot of like why I passed my tests and stuff was because I memorized what the teacher said.
Yeah.
And then I just like, reiterated that in the test, and then I got good scores on my tests. But then it's like, ask me about that now. I don't know. You know what I mean? I never retained any of that because I was just trying to memorize whatever it was. But I also think it's just like a thing where like I don't know. It's like the way they introduce reading to you, it's like kind of like a thing where like they make it boring. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like they just make it.
It's because of the testing, bro. It has to be because of the testing. Because now I read a book and I don't have to read it by this deadline so that I can take this test. I can read it and I can go back to every page like 10 times if I had to, just to understand it. And it's because I want to. You know what I mean?
But I feel like our education system is trying to like make you into like a worker where you're following an instruction, you're getting the instructions done, and then you're on to the next one.
Boom,
you know what I mean? It's like I feel like you're losing your creative side. Have you
ever seen that Instagram thing where it's like people sitting in a chair? And then it's like it comes through a conveyor belt and they smash a light bulb.
They're smashing the light bulb.
And then the next one comes and like this is what the education system does. Like that's literally kind of what it does.
I really do feel like that way, because I feel like everything I learned in high school, I did like the only thing that's applicable is the deadlines and being on time, things like that.
Nah, that's not true, because I feel like from school I learned like through math specifically. Like math is like an inductive way to think. You know what I mean? You take step 1 and you go step 2, you go step 3, you go step 4, and it goes like that. And like in the same way, kind of, I don't know, I took a logic class like as one of my electives, and I apply it to my everyday life, because the way it is, you have your base thought, you go, okay, how does this connect to this base thought? And then you just keep going, basically like a math equation. Like that's what I took from school, like even when I was younger too.
Yeah, but I liked math because math was like a thing where I could figure out a way to do it, and it didn't have to only do it this way. There was multiple ways to get there. Like I always tell you, there's multiple ways to get to New York. You could get on a train, a plane, a car, walk there on a bike, whatever, but you're going to get to New York. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And that's what math is. Like I feel like something like, I don't know, what's a class? I don't know. Trigonometry, yeah, no, that's math. That you could still figure it out. I think something like
trig is in math too. Not a
English,
math class.
Not math. It would have to be like
history.
History. Nah, I like history.
What are you trying to do?
What I'm trying to say, there's classes where like you're taught this way, you're taught how to do it, and this is exactly how you have to do it. Boom, and that's how you pass, bro. You know what I'm saying? Math was kind of like a thing where like you learn it, but then you could figure out different ways to do it. And it kind of like triggered your brain to do it your own way. I don't agree that math is what you're saying, like where it's kind of like rigid or whatever.
It is rigid though. 2 + 2 = 4, bro. That's just how it is. That's
Hey, don't start there, because that's the whole thing right now.
Yeah, you see that, right?
The 2 + 2 = 4 is a whole thing right now. It's all over the place.
I mean, I think it just makes 2 + 2.
I mean,
it's 4. It's not
literally
anything else.
If you think of it on a broader perspective, right? 2 + 2 = 4 is the most random statement that anybody can say. Like it's just something that somebody said, right? But you need it so that you can see the world in that way, like so that I can count my two apples plus my 2 apples makes 4 apples. And I can understand that it's just an amount to a bigger amount. You know what I mean? It's just to understand it like that.
Oh, it's backwards. Okay, so you got 2 squares, right?
Yeah.
You got 2 squares, right?
Yeah.
So you got 2 plus 2, right? And you say it equals 4, right? But then when you look at it, those 4 squares can equal 5 squares.
Oh, that's true. Okay,
Oh,
because of the
'cause
bigger
2 plus
square?
2 equals 5.
Okay.
That's just one example.
Yeah, I mean,
I know. The 2 plus 2 argument, all that's saying is that what I take away from it is context is everything. Is that you have to know in what context you're talking about in order for 2 plus 2 to equal 4, 2 plus 2 to equal 5. And that's all it is. It's all context.
It's what you're applying it to.
Correct. There was another one that goes 12 plus 12 is 0, right?
Okay.
Well, no, 12 plus 12 is 24, right?
24.
True.
Yeah.
But in the context of 12, as in on a clock, so you got 12
Okay.
plus another 12
Plus 12 hours
goes back to 0.
Yeah,
Oh.
in military time, yeah.
There you go. So
Okay.
you're right. Exactly. You roll your eyes. Because I do the same thing. You roll your eyes and you're like, okay, I guess that works. But
Yeah.
isn't that the whole argument? Is that I guess it works. It works, right?
Yeah, but it's like a thing where it's like you're taking something that's so basic and you're just making
You're
it
just
really
trying to
complex.
break it down for no reason.
Yeah, you're trying to like
Correct.
find the loophole, but then
Correct.
the loophole
I agree
requires
100%.
requires
But I mean,
specific things.
I still feel like the person that thought about that was still a smart person, because they're like, all right, look, this is something that proves that you're wrong. Like obviously, like that's a out of the box kind of thinking for you to figure that out.
What do you think of this idea? I told Jason this idea one time. I told Jason, I was like, everyone's a genius, but everyone's a genius in their own specific way. There's no like someone's top tier and someone's just, down here. I think everyone has something within them that makes them a genius. Like, what do you think of that ideology?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, you take like world famous geniuses like Albert Einstein. I'm like, yeah, he was a genius. We can all agree he's a genius, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, how many music artists do you know that you would consider a genius that probably has never picked up a math book, that you're like, there's not another human being on this earth that can replicate what this music artist is doing? Like, that takes a certain level of knowledge of self, of how to play the instrument, of how to make good music. I mean, it's all relative. It's all what you're inspired to do. Like, there's geniuses in every single facet of life. I mean, whether you're cooking, whether you're making music, whether you're doing math, whether you're doing art. I mean, think about art. I mean, there's probably some of the world famous artists that probably couldn't do simple math, but we're not going to say that they're not a genius for the art they created. Like, that all is involved.
I bet you Van Gogh wasn't doing math.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, the guy was mentally ill. I mean, he had some serious mental problems, but like, a part of him is that he knew that he did, is that he had a certain understanding of his own mental health. And so he kind of understood where he was in his own mind, and he used it to make some of the most amazing art we've ever seen that will never be replicated. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, replicated. I have one on my wall, like, but it's just a poster, but not replicated from his own mind. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think it's just like a thing where, like, for example, right? You like Albert Einstein. I'm gonna botch this quote. He says something like, "You can't judge a fish on how to climb a tree," and then something like that. Like, what's that quote? You know what I'm talking about?
That's basically what the quote is.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because like what I find in myself, like when I'm learning something and when I find like listening to it and doing it myself, I learn it like this, like really fast. Like I could read something, like I love to read, right? But I feel like that is a slower process than if you're talking to me. Like if you were to like all right, Vic, you're gonna teach you anthropology, and we're gonna go through this, and that, and I'm listening to you, and I'm engaging with it, and I get to like make my own examples and like really dive into it. I'm learning better than if you just gave me a textbook. Like I'll read it, but if you gave me a textbook and you were like, all right, this is what you have to read, this is how you're gonna learn it. You know what I mean? I like I don't know. That's just how I see it. Like I feel like different, like you could be a genius, but in different aspects of life. Like you were saying, right?
I mean,
Like,
it's really always, I feel like when I had conversations with my friends at school, it was like every time that we had an argument or something about something, like 70% of the time it was about like what the definition of a word was. Really, like genius. Like, what do you define a genius as?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't define what a genius is because you can't quantify it. You can't put a value on it. You can't say Albert Einstein was the only genius ever because of X, Y, and Z, and this music artist over here isn't, because it just doesn't work that way. You can't quantify one thing compared to the other. They're two completely different things, and so they will never measure up. But I mean, there is things that we like. I guess you can, like appreciation. You can measure appreciation. I appreciate really good music just as much as I appreciate really good science. Like, you know what I mean? So, I mean, when it comes to those types of things, you can maybe put a certain level on it, but
I think
yeah.
it's always like, I don't know if you like read it's like the Plato's dialogues and anything like that, because I like if you see in those conversations, usually what Socrates does first is define what he's talking about. When he says something, this is what I mean by this, so that everybody's on the same page, so that, because like I said, it's like 70% of the time we were arguing about just the definition of a word. So the way you overcome that is just define the word right when you start, so that when you start trying to argue about stuff, it's just, it's smooth sailing. You could actually argue about the real point that you're trying to argue about.
Well, so here's where in our day and age we're getting into these issues, is because we can't even agree on the basic understanding of something, right? So like for example, we'll take a math book, right? Or no, we'll just take like a science book, right?
All right.
So if I say gravity exists, and I'm going to tell you why it exists, and the fundamental aspects of it, of why it's a thing, but then you come back and you go, well, I don't believe that gravity is a thing. We can't even have a conversation about how it's a thing, because
like
you
flat
don't even
earthers,
believe.
bro.
Exactly. Like you can't tell anything to flat earthers because you can't even agree on the basic bottom level principle of what the earth is. So you'll never be able to hold a conversation with them, because when you break it all down, they're going to disagree with you on every single level and every single principle. So you'll never be able to have a proper conversation with somebody.
I think it's crazy because you can like live in a whole different universe, bro. Like when you have a spherical earth, the physics of the how it moves in the earth is completely different. If it's a flat earth, you can't have the same physics it's like a whole different universe, literally.
Yeah. There's so much proof out there disproving flat earth theory that I can't even believe it's still a thing. I mean, you got to understand. I mean, you got to believe that some people are just trolling because it gets them attention, or it's a trope. You know what I mean? Like they just do it for attention to get like the wow factor. But I mean, there's definitely still people that in their heart truly believe that. I mean, we have
Kyrie
that
Irving.
kind of stuff. Yeah, but I mean, like, do you believe that he believes it, or do you believe that he's just trying to get people in conversation into, I don't know.
I don't know.
Weird. I feel like
saying.
some people do that. They try to get attention by being extra weird.
It's because I feel like in this, like, it's like the cool thing to be opposite of whatever the world, you know what I'm saying? So if I'm like, I don't know, you got to read 1984. It's a great book. Someone's going to be like, that book is fucking trash, bro. It's the worst book ever. Just because they want to be like, it's like the cool thing to be different. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think like if it makes sense in my head, then it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like if the math lines up and I'm like, that makes sense. It makes, like, the flat earth theory does not make sense to me. I can't wrap my head around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like spherical Earth and it's orbiting, and that makes sense to me. And I'm like, okay, that's
I mean,
what I'm
how does it make sense to you, bro? Have you seen the Earth in its sphericalness, bro?
No, but like,
You've been on the International Space Station and look at the Earth, bro.
Exactly.
How do you know? You can't really know. It's just what's in a textbook that really tells you, and what other people tell you.
And it's like they want to say the government is pushing this forward, right? The government's trying to tell you that the Earth is round, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how many people would have to be in on that secret?
Because there has to be an end, right?
Well, no, and I'm just like, nobody's going to be able to keep that secret. If it was a government secret that the Earth was flat and they're pushing this round Earth agenda, there's multiple hundreds of people that know this. Nobody's ever going to keep that secret. Somebody's going to leak it. So I'm waiting.
And like, what would be the benefit is my question.
Exactly. Yeah. Like they think that we're somehow monetizing this spherical world to somehow make money off of it. How? Explain to me how they're making money off of the Earth being flat, but we're telling everybody it's round. It makes no goddamn sense. It makes no sense at all.
What makes no sense to me is, all right, if Earth is flat, then that means that there has to be an end, right? Like that you could just fall off.
The ice wall, man. I'm telling you, it's like 150 foot. It's dude. I'm ashamed to admit that I've read more on this than I'm happy to admit. They believe it's an ice wall that's like 150 feet tall. They believe that some people believe that the world government is actually paying military to patrol this ice wall.
Yeah, but
and do you know how many people it would take to patrol an ice wall that circled the Earth?
I mean, it kind of makes sense because aren't they spending so and like a lot of money on the government, on the military?
There
for no
you
reason?
go. See, exactly.
It's
man.
possible, bro.
Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Jason's in a flat Earth theory.
Hey, bro. Nah, you know what? The Earth is flat, bro. I believe it now.
Hey, it's fun. It's fun to throw these out there and talk about it. And I mean, on a certain level, I hate to admit this, on a certain level, that kind of thinking, it's needed to a certain extent in order to push us forward.
Yeah.
I mean, Galileo, he came out saying that the Earth wasn't the center of the universe and that it was circling the sun, and people thought he was crazy.
He died for that, right?
He got killed for that. I'm pretty sure.
And he was right. Crazy.
I know, right? But think about it from the aspects of the people that didn't believe him. I mean, he was spewing garbage that there's no way is possible. I mean, we're the center. I mean, look at the stars. Look, the stars are circling us. The sun is circling us.
The moon's going around too.
The moon's going around. Like, we're the center. And he's like, I'm not 100% sure. But facts. He did scientific facts. He did research. He was able to duplicate his findings. I mean, you got to be able to prove all this stuff. You can't just. It's one thing to have exactly. It's one thing to have a theory, because that's what a theory is. A theory is an idea that hasn't been proven yet, right?
Okay.
So there's tons of theories out there, but it becomes a law when you've been able to measure it, when you've been able to prove it, and then when you've been able to prove it multiple times over different variations. That's the whole concept. So I mean, there's still things that there's things that we still consider, like for example, there's I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there's just a ton of it's theories and laws, right? So like gravity, we've proven
gravity.
That gravity
That's what I was gonna say. That's
exists because we've been able to prove it over and over again, and we've been able to measure it, and we've been able to have other people that disagree with it test it out and having it come true. So now it's a law. It's no longer a theory. So that's the same thing. Like flat. I mean, there's a reason why it's called flat Earth theory and not flat Earth law.
I mean, then you could say the same thing about the Big Bang Theory, even though you believe that, because it's just a theory.
Yeah. So the Big Bang. There's two concepts of the Big Bang. There's the Big Bang way of thinking about the Earth expanding, and then there's the Big Bang itself, right? So there's the Big Bang in the aspect of yes, the universe is expanding It's speeding up actually,
Yeah.
and it did start from a very finite point, right? So we do know that's a fact because we can see it, we can measure it. What we don't know is the actual action of the Big Bang. You know, where that came from, what that was, where that started from. That's where we're still kind of iffy. We don't have a solid fact there. So that's what a lot of people get. That's where the misconception is they don't know that, scientifically speaking, there's two types of Big Bangs. There's the event, and then there's the idea of how the universe is expanding away. So that's it's one thing that's important to remember.
So then, like, the event is kind of like the one that's up in the air, and then the one about the universe expanding is already proven because we could see, like,
Correct.
based off of like rays and shit like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So like where the universe started and the infinite density of where it began, that's what we're looking at now. That's what we're thinking about, and that's what we don't have a definitive answer yet.
So the Big Bang Theory, just like I don't really remember what it is. It's like, and it just like was perfectly made. Is that what it is?
Well, that's
confusing
it. You know, you're right. It wasn't. The thing is, it wasn't perfect. It was actually imperfect, which is why there's even things and matter, and why we're even here is because it was imperfect. Technically speaking, if the Big Bang was perfect, there would be no life because matter and everything that makes up life would have been distributed evenly, and nothing would have clumped together. But because the Big Bang was imperfect and it had hot spots and cold spots and was not even and was kind of abstract and randomized, that matter was able to collect. It was able to create, create stars, and it was able to create solar systems and galaxies. And then using those clumps of matter, life then started.
Oh, dude, that like, because I always thought it was like I was telling you, it was the perfect like thing that happened, and then because then with that thinking, like if the Big Bang was perfect, that's what I always thought. So I always thought like, okay, if it's so perfect, there has to be like a creator or like a god or like something that had to create that perfection. But if it's imperfect, now I gotta think about my whole concept of how I was thinking about it.
Well, so like, you know, you come into, you know, theology and you come into the idea of God. It's like, putting my beliefs aside, there, like I said before, in the beginning, there is room for God and what you believe in God, and there's room for science, because evolution and the Big Bang, that can be the how, not the why. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Big Bang, evolution, that's how everything happened, not necessarily why it happened.
Yeah.
And people, the only way that I can really see, you know, your idea of God working into the grand scheme of things is that he just set everything in motion, and then everything did it its own way, where he pushed the first domino. He isn't,
you know what I
he doesn't have his fingers in everything at all times, pushing this button, pulling that lever. He just did this one thing, maybe the Big Bang, maybe he started all that, and then after that part he stepped back and said whatever happens.
I don't know if you ever heard of, I know it's one of Newton's laws. I think it's the second law, that object in motion will stay in motion until something stops it. You know, I don't know if you ever heard of that.
So if I'm not mistaken, the second law of thermodynamics is hot will always dissipate into cold. That's
entropy. Yeah, it's Newton's law. Newton's second law, or no, Newton's second.
Yes.
I think it's one of Newton's law. I know it's one of Newton's law, is that something in motion will stay in motion until something stops it, and something not in motion will stay not in motion until something puts it in motion. It's crazy because, all right, so that was Newton, and I think after was Hume. I don't remember when Hume was alive. I think it was like 1700s.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So which was after, and Hume used that to prove that God exists, because he said, oh, if something in motion something not in motion cannot go into motion until something put it in motion, then God is the one that put it into motion and made the universe happen. Like that's one of his proofs for why God exists.
Yeah. Like a lot of people want to say that he's behind the scenes and he's not directly in front of us, but he's more behind us, and he kind of, like I said, got everything into motion. But yeah, you're always gonna find people that want to put them somewhere, and so they're always kind of looking for areas that we don't know. You know what I mean? Like for example, before the Big Bang, what was that? They want to maybe put them there. I mean, you're always going to find people that want to put them in somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a complicated situation. You know what I mean? I mean, whether or not you believe in it, I personally, I respect anybody that wants to believe it, even if, I have my own certain opinions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I it's because I'm going back because it could also be a thing where like Hume could have that could have already been an ideology in him where God exists. So he's putting his ideology within the
Totally.
law. You know what I'm saying?
I think
Yeah,
that's like what the cool thing about learning is that when you know one thing, all right, he knew the science of it, and he knew he had his belief, and like I'm pretty sure he was like part of the church and shit, and he wrote theology books and cared about God. He used that, and because he knew the science, he was able to make a connection with something because he knew both of those things, which is why I think, when you know so much shit, you could just connect all different aspects all over the place. It's cool. It's awesome.
Ultimately, yeah. I mean, that's it, man. Like you nailed it. Like that's why it's important, and that's why it's fun, and that's why it's interesting. Is because you can just pile on top of each other just different aspects of what you want to learn, so you can see the big picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had this thing, like, I still want to do it, like, where I was like, okay, if everyone's getting their knowledge from books like the Bible or like the Quran, things like that, where like they're learning and they're trying to like, it's like a way of living and stuff. Like, if I read all those like books, will I know the world? That's what I always thought. Like, and I want to like
world. What does that even mean?
So like, all right, so the Bible, right? It's like a way of living. It's like a book of how to live, right? And essentially, like every like chapter, every verse is basically really reiterates that like you live this way. God exists. It's like a.
I mean, there's a lot of connections between those books with each other too.
So I don't know. I thought like because those are books that like supposedly came from like the above, right? If you read all those books, will you be like a genius, bro?
I mean, no, I don't know. I don't think so, because if you read there's just books, bro. Like for me, obviously, to other people that like that statement might have been like, "Whoa, what the fuck, this man?"
I know what you said. Don't worry, you didn't insult me.
Like personally, like a book, like if you read the Bible, there's a lot of philosophy in it. Like that's a philosophy book to me, bro. Like you look at it, it's just there was people writing what they thought God was saying God thinks was the best, or God says for them. It was what God said was what was the way of the world, and they used like stories and everything to teach a philosophy to people through those stories. You know what I mean? So in the same way, those books all just are philosophy books on how to live your life and how to based off of what God, like the God sent message was. You know what I mean? But so if you believe that, it's kind of just gonna help you live your life in a certain way. I don't think it's gonna make you a genius, because then like then we go back to the definition. What is a genius?
Yeah, all right.
Like maybe you'll be able to live your life the best in like according to those gods, but I don't think they'll teach you more than just philosophy.
Don't get me wrong. Like all those like the Bible and the Quran, like they're all useful in their own way, because they teach. Maybe not all their lessons are important, but they teach very important lessons about how to treat people. You know what I mean? Like they teach you to be kind and to be gentle with others, and we're all, you know what I mean? Like there's absolutely lessons to be found in all those books. It can't be the only book you read, and it's not gonna have all the answers. But that being said, neither is any other book.
Yeah. So like Okay. So something I came across on your Twitter, like I'm gonna read it because I don't want to like misquote you. It was like, peace on earth is inevitable. The real question is whether or not we'll be around to enjoy it. Right? That really struck me, right? Because I always told Jason, we're gonna, like, the way I see the world is we're gonna go through the universe, and like the world will be at a point where it is awesome, and we're
like
not going
utopia,
through. Yeah, like a utopia. We're heading towards a utopia. And I told him I think of it like a pyramid, right? Where it's like all these problems, and we're through trial and error, we're going to get to that peak, which is the utopia. And when I read that, I was like, oh, this guy's the man, bro. So I just wanted to dive into that a little bit, man. See where you think, why you think that.
Yeah, so the inspiration for that one came from we're us as a human race here on Earth. We're not exactly making the best decisions. I mean, environmentally, we're not making the best decisions.
That's true.
Socially, we're not making the best decisions.
Agreed.
Historically, we're not. I mean, right now is a really, really interesting, if you want to use that word, time to be alive because of what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, it ultimately comes down to like people complain about we're ruining the environment, we're killing the planet. No, the planet is going to be just fine. The planet's not going anywhere.
It's us.
We're not going to kill the planet. It's us. We're going to kill ourselves. Like,
yeah.
in the end, we're going to kill all of us and every other living thing that's on this planet. And so when I wrote that text, it was more of like, are we going to be able to make the right decisions that we can cohabitate this Earth together?
Plot twist.
And you know what I mean? Like, we got to be able to work together. Like, I'm not saying that we need a world government, because we don't. That's not going to work either. That's not the option. But what we're doing right now isn't the option either. Like, life is about balance. You got to balance everything out. And if we can't figure out how to balance everything, then there's going to be no us to figure it out. We're just going to be gone. So I always laugh when people say that, we're killing the planet, when we're not killing the planet, we're killing ourselves. So if we're here long enough and we're able to work out all these issues that we have, which are a great many right now, then we're going to be able to figure it out. We'll be happy, and we'll be able to go to Mars and colonate that and go to other stars and go to other galaxies. But until we figure out, universe. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way we're going to be able to go to other galaxies and other areas. We can't figure this out here.
Yeah.
We just got to do it. There's no other option. You're really going to tell me that we're going to start sending people to Mars and figure out how that's going to work if we can't even figure out what we're doing here? It's never going to work. It's never going to work.
I think maybe it's my optimism that gets me, but it's a thing where, because we are human and we know and have the ability to change our perspectives and change our way of living, I think that's what gives us the boost to essentially have a utopia one day, right? So
100%.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, we are smart enough. We have the brain power. We have the ability as the apex living thing on this planet to change all of it. Like, we have that ability. It's in us. We have the ability to create the technology, and we have it. I mean, I hate to be all philosophical and all mushy or what you want to call it, but we have it within ourselves to make those decisions. They're going to put us on the right path. That's going to be able to solve all these issues. It's just that we got to do it one step at a time. And where we're at right now is it's not pretty, and it's not working, and we're having a lot of issues.
Yeah.
But what I think is nice is that, not nice, but I guess what this year shows is like I said this on another episode, it's kind of like all the problems have been like if all the problems were an onion, it kind of got sliced in half, so you could see all the real problems that are going on. Like, you could see healthcare problems with especially with the COVID. Like, now you see, there's the healthcare. We need some real healthcare. People can't get the help that they need to get it financially. Stuff like all the stipends and everything like that. That the government has the money to give to us, but they're not allocating it in the best ways always either. And then you can see, obviously, with George Floyd, the Black Lives Matter movement and everything like that, is also, you can see the social injustice that is in the world. Like, it's just, all the problems are put on the highlight right now, and we just gotta attack them head on, bro, and try to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, that's the silver lining right now. The silver lining is that all these terrible things that are happening, at least it's getting the attention it's finally deserved. Like, I mean, who knows how long this would have lasted if something bad didn't happen, like it did. But like, it's in the forefront now. We got to keep it in the forefront. We got to keep working on it. And at least it's been brought out from the dark. It's been shoved into the light, and people are forced to look at it, which whether you like it or not, it's important, and you're gonna be forced to address it one way or another, whether you like it or not. You're gonna have to act in it in some way, and so at least it seems like we're getting more towards that area of being forced into a position to do something. We have to.
I think us as humans, right? I think that's what we struggle the most, right? We want change, but we have trouble dealing with the change when it's happening, right?
Mhm.
Like I think like that, like if we effectively communicated and we effectively were able to express ourselves and you know, like there would be like an understanding, right? That's why I think it's important to have conversations like conversations we're having, right? Because your perspective with my perspective with Jason's perspective, right? Someone could listen to this and capture all these perspectives and make their own perspective, you know? And I think that's what we lack. We're kind of putting a blind eye to whatever's going on for a long time. Like you said, we're casting the shadow, we're casting the light. Sorry, we're casting the light with, and now we're forced to express ourselves and we're forced to communicate for the better, and man, I feel like that's like a big thing that I live within my life. Like I feel like this is like my outlet to like talk on the mic and stuff, but it's also my way of expression to try to find an answer somehow, some way. You know what I mean?
To what? To everything, to be honest.
Yeah, to everything, no matter what it is.
That's why we can talk about anything on this shit. We literally
that's why like a messy room, life is all over the place. And when you're cleaning your room and you find like random stuff, oh snap, there was that Gatorade I drank a month ago under the bed, is the same way that you could, oh snap, that's that idea that I never even thought was there until we had this conversation, bro. And that's why I think it's mad cool. And that's why, again, like, because we can self-reflect and we have that within us, I feel like the utopia is just inevitable. It's never.
I don't think it's inevitable, bro. I think what his quote was actually perfect in a way that is like crazy, because peace, no, if it gets back to it and global warming does kill us all, bro, the world is gonna be peaceful. It's gonna freeze over. It's gonna freeze over. We're all gonna be dead, and it's just gonna be ice, and then it's gonna melt back to it's gonna be a new ice age basically, and it's gonna go back to where it started. It's just gonna be nature, bro. Eventually, it's gonna get to that point where it's just gonna be nature, and that's gonna be real peace right there. Is when we're not.
Yeah,
here.
but I mean,
but
I don't know.
I know what you mean. But if we have enough time to figure everything out, then peace will happen between us as individuals. So either way, peace is inevitable, bro. That's our band, bro. Crazy.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not a complete nihilist. You know what I mean? Like I definitely believe that we can make some changes. Like it's definitely a possibility. I just the most important thing, honestly, is we got to start thinking. We got to start thinking bigger than just ourselves. We got to start thinking about future generations, because this problem, one, isn't going to get changed with just our generation or in my lifetime or in your lifetime or even the next lifetime. It's just not going to work that way. So we got to start putting things into perspective with regards to humanity as a whole, instead of just a generation or a nation or anything on that scale. It's got to be bigger than that. It's got to be more than just about us. It's got to be about everybody. It's just got to be a big picture.
You gotta put everything into perspective for everybody. That's why I think, like Vic said before, bro, education. You open the minds of people, give them a better perspective when they're young. They'll grow up with this newer perspective through their education, and they'll be able to look at the world in that way. Like you said, though, you get your knowledge and you can look at the world in a different way. Boom. So if you can like open that up to everybody, then everybody will be able to look at the world in all many, like this way, that way, up, down, sideways, it doesn't matter. And they'll be able to be themselves, their true selves. Like I feel like there's so much stuff holding you back already in life just when you're born, that if you don't learn what's holding you back, you're going to keep getting held back by those things. Like one is so like social class holds you back like crazy. So if you don't know that your social class is holding you back, you're ignorant to it, and then it's going to hold you back for the rest of your life. Your race holds you back. Like it may either hold you back, and in some other cases, it actually helps you go forward. So like knowing that, then you can see that perspective and live your life in a different way because you know that. And that's why bro, I don't know why I always say it, bro, but it's learning everything that like as much as you can will just help you see the world in 100 different ways and help you live your life in a better way too.
I also think like as like people, we have to be able to listen to each other and understand where the other person's coming from. Like it's like a thing where like like Drew Brees, for example, right? He like, you know, he said something about like oh, like I don't care what under any circumstances kneeling on kneeling for the flag is bad or something like that. You know, I'm not gonna take that. And then you know he apologizes on social media, and then he says he really wants to learn from his teammates and things like that because he didn't understand. He was like ignorant, you know, not his fault, but he was ignorant in a way where he was like, okay, I knew what I said. I didn't understand why it hurt you. Now let me understand why it hurt you and let me get better so I could be a better person. That's the stuff we got to do. Similar to like Kyle Korver, right? He was asked, oh, would you wear the Black Lives Matter jersey? And he was like, I think it's important for me as a white man to wear this Black Lives Matter jersey because it's like like it's a sign that flashes straight to the eyes. You know what I mean? It's gonna catch attention because it's, you know what I'm saying? Like Black Lives Matter for like a black man is important, and you know it's expected of a black man for Black Lives Matter. But if a white man is Black Lives Matter, then it gives a new perspective for someone else. You know what I mean? Those were just the examples that came to my head because they're really current.
I mean, going off the Drew Brees thing, I think the cancel culture is the worst shit that can be made. Because if you're canceling everybody for having a perspective that they have and you don't give them the chance to learn and be a better person, then those people are going to continue to be ignorant if you just cancel them. And then they're going to reproduce, and then their kids are going to be ignorant because they're going to grow up thinking with their parents' perspective. So I think the cancel culture is the worst shit that that can happen for anybody right now.
That's why I think it's important to start young, to start education. That's why I always say, like, teachers, I swear that has to be the most important job, but they don't get highlighted. Like, they don't get, you know, compensated the way they should. And I'm telling you, like, some of the greatest things I've learned, or some of like the reasons why I went, you know, I did the path that I took, or some of like I have the courage to even do this podcast and stuff, is because a teacher told me, like, you could do whatever you want in this life, but you got to put the work into it. You know what I mean? You got to put the work into whatever you want to do, your dreams and aspirations. So it was like, it's like a thing where like that hit me early, and I was like, oh man, I could do whatever I want. Yeah, I wasn't the best student or whatever, you know, but I had a bigger vision. And I have this bigger vision for myself, you know, for my family and all this, because I'm a dreamer, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna do it if I put the hard work into it, all this stuff. And it's, I don't know, it's like, it's kind of like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you were to educate like someone, like a little kid, right? A little kid doesn't know anything. A little kid is like is open-minded to the world and just wants to discover the world, right? But if you put that kid in a box, the ideology will be in that box. You know what I mean? But if you help them discover the world and explain perspectives and explain, you know, experiences of others, and explain, like, you know, learning, knowledge, I feel like we as people will eventually grow and prosper.
No bull. I think history at a really young age might be the most important thing, bro. Because if you
I'm telling you, yeah, history is super, super important. It's super important.
Because you see the years and years of what's been going on, you understand, okay, this is like, all right, this is how the world's been. How is the world going to be for me?
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have context for everything. Like, to go back to the Drew Brees, like, not everything is so black and white. Like, people got to know that. Like, what Drew Brees said was wrong, but do you have any idea how much he's done for that community at the same time?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm just saying, he just didn't know.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, people are complicated. Like, nobody's perfect. He's far from perfect. We're all far from perfect. Nobody's perfect. But, like, he's a perfect example of being right in one aspect and wrong in the other. Like, you can be both. People can be both right and wrong. I did a post not that long ago where I talked about Charles Darwin. So Charles Darwin
Oh yeah.
was
I seen
was
that.
a
Yeah.
strong abolitionist. Like, he believed that slaves were wrong and that nobody should be slaves, and we need to abolish all of that. Like, he was a very, very strong abolitionist, and he learned that by being on his boat, the Beagle, because they were on the boat with him, and he saw it firsthand. He saw how they were treated. He saw how wrong it was. So he came back from his trip, and he was a strong advocate of that. That being said, he also believed that people of color were superior to the whites. He believed that. He believed that we were superior and that we were better in every way, which we all know isn't true. It's false. It's not real. It's fake, right?
Yeah.
But he had one good message and one bad message. He had both good and bad. And we need, like, that's really important with history, is not everything is black and white. Like, he had one message that we need to take away, which is abolish all slavery. We should never have slaves. But on the other hand, he showed us a viewpoint that's wrong, and that we can learn to not think that way because it's not real. And we can learn from that. We can learn a lot from both those angles.
Yeah, I think like a big step as a society, as a world, that we need to do is, like my guy Damien, United Boundaries. He says, listen, learn, live. Right. His words is, you want to listen to someone's perspective, you want to learn their perspective, and then with the learnings and with what you've been, with the perspective you've learned, and listen to, you could live a better life, because now you understand the other person, or you understand another perspective on life. And that's, and like, literally, he was on the show. Me and Jason were like, you got to put that on the shirt, because that is beautiful, bro. Then, and when he said that, I was like, that is the greatest thing.
And he did it too.
Yeah, he did it too. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, man. Like, it's like, it's a thing where, I don't know. That's why I think having this conversation right now, right? It's making me feel good. I feel like we're going somewhere, right? Yeah. But imagine if you did this on like a grander scale, bro, like a bigger scale, and imagine, and having other perspectives, and having other people say what they have to say, and you could grow, and you could truly change a person, right? Like, there's a guy, he's a black man who was on the Joe Rogan podcast. I forgot his name. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'll find it. But basically, he was talking to clanmen that were in the KKK, right? And he was convincing them that he is a human too, and that the difference between them is just skin color, and that they're human, And he got like more than, like, I believe, I don't want to get the number wrong, but like more than 200 Klansmen from the KKK to leave and opt out of the KKK because they didn't believe in those ideologies no more, right? So it's proven that we can change, even with the most, like, when you think of the KKK, you think of the craziest shit, right? And like, you're probably thinking of like the worst of worst, right? But that man changed the perspective of Klansmen, which proves to me, at least, that people are, even the worst of worst, or what you think is the worst of worst, can truly change. You know?
It's a perfect example. It's a perfect example of how in the wrong someone can be, but given the right attention, given the right ideology and explanation, that it all can all change. Like, it's all about perspective. Like, probably the biggest reason that we have an issue right now is because people can't relate. They can't relate to pain that they're having. They can't relate to the issues economically, financially, socially. Like, they can't relate because they've never been in that position. So like, going back to like learning and reading, if you learn, if you read, if you study your history, you're not going to be able to relate 100% or even a large percent, but you'll be able to relate a little bit. You'll be able to have an understanding on even a small scale of what's going on, the bigger picture, and you'll be that much better and that much more in the know, and be able to help much better, because you'll at least have a very small understanding of where it's all coming from.
Yeah.
And I think it's not just books, to be honest. It's literally any kind of culture, bro. Like music,
Yeah.
I think is a really big one. Like if you listen like to Kendrick's "To Pimp a Butterfly," bro,
Ooh.
or like you see a perspective on life from his music, then he's just giving it to you, and you can understand. And that's one of the, like, you can empathize and understand the world that he lived in. Like Good Kid, Mad City, another one, you can understand the world that he lived in and what he grew up in. And that's like you said, although it's like small scale, you can never really know what it is to live there. That gives you like a little insight, and then it helps you empathize with them
Correct.
and truly understand that different kind of perspective.
Another person that I don't know why he's not more popular right now, because his lyrics were so powerful. But Tupac, have you ever read some of Tupac's lyrics?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was poetry. It was literature. I mean, he was talking about facts that he was living through. I mean, I don't understand how his music isn't all over the place, because, like, one, it's just good music. I mean, we can all agree on that, right? But two, the message behind it was important. Like take those songs, print out those lyrics, put it in a pamphlet, and hand those out, and have people read that. And I mean, his words, I mean, I still listen to him a lot, and I mean, it's just what he said is so powerful. I mean, I've enjoyed just all his messages.
I think it's funny you say that, because I don't know maybe what the people around you, but I actually know a lot of people that listen to Tupac where we come from. Like I literally, there was a teacher in the school that we went to that printed out Tupac like lyrics and gave it to students to break it down. Like, you know how they do with poetry, they give you Robert Frost, they gave you Tupac. He's a poet too. And like that in my school, they actually gave that out to the students.
But I also think, like, with the genre of hip hop, it's a thing where, like, it's not like, you know, like rock and roll, like you kind of like people, when like you're trying to dive into it, like people tell you to listen to, like, you know, the Beatles and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like the early stages of it, because you want to learn the history of rock and roll to know where it's from. But I think hip hop is like a thing where it's like, I think the reason why Tupac is like dying down, like you're saying, is because the generation that's listening to music now is younger. So they grew up on like Lil Uzi, they grew up on like Cole, Kendrick, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like
they're
a thing
still
where
spreading the message too, though. There's still some people
no,
spreading
totally,
the message.
100%. Yeah, and I mean, it probably doesn't help that that he was murdered way too soon, so he's not here with us to kind of, one, make more music, or two, to talk about it himself. Where, you know what I mean? He's with us through his music pretty much only now, which doesn't help matters. But you're right. I mean, there's still people that are thankfully at least kind of doing what he did, which was, you're not just making music with hooks. You're not just making music with beats. You're not saying the same thing over again, talking about money. Like, it's nice to have these people that are actually putting thoughtful, well thought out, meaningful lyrics into their music.
Yeah.
What I think is cool too, like that album I was talking about before, To Pimp a Butterfly, at the end of it, like, it's funny you say Tupac, the end of it, the last song, Mortal Man, literally has like an unreleased interview. Dude. And Kendrick's basically talking to Tupac, and Tupac's talking back to him. And like, bro, it's like chilling to listen to that shit. Like, it's a 12-minute song, but like every time it comes on, I listen to the whole thing because it's just that powerful, bro.
Only Kendrick Lamar can get an unreleased interview, bro. And just, I'm telling you, like, that man is, oh man, like, when I tell you he's in my top 3, top 2, probably number 1. When I tell you, like, I could listen to that man's music every day, and every day I could listen to the same song, and I'm gonna learn something new every single time. It's crazy. And like I have listened to Tupac, yes, but I feel like I have to dive into it a little more, just because I'm a little younger, and I feel like that Kendrick, Kanye,
that's what we grew up on, for sure.
That's what, that's the kind of stuff that when I started listening to hip hop and really engaging with it, those were the people that were in the light. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying, like, I think it's like a generational thing. That's why like Tupac is kind of dying down, even though he is probably the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? Lyrically, with the beats, with just everything. The music was awesome. It's just the thing where, like,
bro, but he literally only made like 2 albums, bro, and then he got killed, bro. Like, that's literally how quick he got taken away.
I thought it was like 3.
It was like
he had a bunch of music that was unreleased. So like, you know, after his death, he still came out with I think it was a couple of albums that was all just post-mortem that was just music he'd already made. I mean the guy was making so much music, like it was crazy. And so when he passed, like they just released it all because they just wanted to keep, you know what I mean, keep his image,
message
you know what I
going
mean?
and everything.
Yeah.
I think that's what's sad, like, because because he was up there, right? But the potential he had and like the influence he had could have, like, imagine if he was alive, could have skyrocketed. You know what I mean? He could have been something even more, and we could never know because obviously he's not with us. It's like a thing like with like XXXTentacion, right? Like he's like to this day, like music's still coming out of him. Of him, like, you know, albums and stuff, but it's weird because like you'll never know the perspectives that like a Tupac would have in a Black Lives Matter movement now.
Yeah, like if he was still alive, bro.
I know. Yeah.
You know, and
I
or
know.
like
It's like the gift too, like the gift to be able to put like your perspective into music. It's literally a gift because you can when you're listening to a melody, it sticks, bro. It sticks so much more when you're listening to it through song than if you're just reading it off a piece of paper. At least that's how I feel. So
I mean,
imagine,
yeah.
and like the skill that he had to be able to put all his perspective into songs, bro. It's crazy. Like not a lot of people have that skill, bro.
I mean, music's always been used for message and pushing messages and talking about things for years. I mean, think about like blues. You know what I mean?
True.
Like I'm sorry. There's only one area where true blues comes from. You know what I mean? I mean, you can't replicate blues.
Yeah.
Blues comes from a place of just sheer pain that goes beyond just oppression. One generation. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah. You'll never be able to replicate what blues is and where it came from and what it means and how it feels.
Even before that, wasn't like the singing in the fields and everything like that too, like like slaves making songs.
Exactly.
Like they were just singing their pain out.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll never replicate that. Like there'll become maybe things that are close or things that make you have the feels and makes you understand things in a different way, but nothing will ever come close like that. And so it's another tool. It's another tool that can be used to help enlighten people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think artists now, like I think like you know, I will listen to like the new generation music. You know, I like it. It's catchy, whatever. But I also think like I don't know if like artists understand the value that they have for a person when all they're talking about is drugs and money and girls or whatever they're talking about. You know what I mean? And it comes to like a thing where like someone like, I don't know, like I have a little brother, right? My little brother's listening to this music and he's like, oh man, like Lil Pump is, you know, doing all these drugs. Yo, like that's the cool thing to do. And that's what I don't know if they notice, but that's the thing that they're like essentially influencing the world. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're always going to have those types of people that, you know, want to sing or rap or, you know, make music regarding things of that nature. But then you're going to have people like Run the Jewels. Have you heard Run the Jewels?
Yeah.
No, I'm
never heard Run the Jewels, bro.
Nah, I'm alright.
It's a group. It's two. It's people too, bro.
So they're doing good work with some messages in their music as well, man. Because they're about pushing those good values and trying to send the right message, and it's super powerful music, and it's what people need.
I'm definitely gonna listen to that.
They dropped an album this year, bro. Listen to that shit. Even though I've never listened to it, but I listened to their previous shit.
Dude, they have a song on there that like talks about like getting choked to death by a police officer. Like it's in the album that they made like a year ago, and they pushed it and released it like earlier than they were normally going to do it because it's so relevant that they're like, we gotta get this out here so people can use it.
Crazy.
Like I think that's what I'm saying. Like the power of music is like,
you know what's crazy, bro? Is that music literally I'm pretty sure that's like the first things that people did like to communicate with each other. Like when, you know, cavemen, they started making music and shit like that, right? Like back in like the beginning of humankind, and that's what started getting people into, you know, learning shit, like making tones with other shit. I don't know if that's true. Is that true? I don't know if you've endeavored into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean like music and all that stuff has been around for since the beginning of time, especially like with like painting and like the big thing was like communication. That was big. But yeah, but like, I mean, music is so powerful. You know what I mean? Like, if we got to use it as a tool, it's really powerful because it's you can spread it easily and you can share it easily, and it brings important messages. It brings happiness. It brings sadness. I mean, it's all encompassing, and I mean, we've already seen it. We've already seen it being used efficiently and accurately and well done recently. We just got to just lean into that and do it even more, and it's gonna happen. It just takes time. Nothing's gonna happen overnight.
Yeah.
It's gonna take patience. It's gonna take persistence, but we'll get there. It's just gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy.
Yeah, I also think like oh man, like music has been like, this is what I'm saying. Like like the platform that these artists have. Like I don't know if they understand how big that platform is, because like the music has, like, I've been going through like some rough times, right, mentally, where I'm just like, man, like all depressed, and listening to like, I don't know, like a Childish Gambino with the beats, or like listening to like a Kanye, what, good morning, doo, 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 something, you know what I mean? That like cheered me up and it made me like feel better. And I that's what I'm saying. Like I think it's probably I don't say it's the most important thing, but it's probably one of the most important things in this world. And I think with great messaging, you could get those like true messages across for future generations to prosper. In my opinion, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like, I mean, music is a shared thing, right?
Yeah.
You share it with people. You share it with people that you're close to. You can share it with people that you don't know with. Like, I mean, it's a medium that can be used for really good things if used properly. And I mean, everybody enjoys it. I mean, who doesn't like music? You know what I mean? I mean, it's been used in that manner forever.
Yeah, I think I've never heard that. Like, I hate music.
I know. Yeah, come on.
I used to say that, bro. I used to say that. I don't know why. I didn't like music like that, but now.
Well, okay, you were just listening to the wrong music.
Yeah, you were listening, you know, Taylor Swift on the radio, bro.
That's literally what I was
listening to. That's pretty good, too. That's all right. That's not bad. I don't know, man.
So I got a question. All right. So Vic, I know Vic asked this before, but I kind of want to ask it again because I got my own opinion on what I think, right? So I asked you before too, is like, what is your goal with all the knowledge that you're accumulating? Because I feel like me, when I you accumulate a bunch of knowledge and you have this perspective, I feel like you kind of have to give it back to the people, bro. Like if you can have the capability and the love and the want to like accumulate all this knowledge, why not use that to educate people and everything like that?
Yeah, no, you know, I like, again, I'm not a teacher. I'm not here to teach people. I'm just here to spark curiosity and get people interested in things they might not normally have been interested in. I mean, my end goal is we're only here for a certain amount of time. I'm just trying to relate to this world as best we can, so that when my time's up, I have a better understanding of why I was here, why we're all here. I mean, my platform I like because I get to share what I come across and what I learn. I like sharing it. I like showing people things that interest me. I mean, like I said, like my followers, they all like it. They all enjoy it. I always get really good feedback. I mean, there's no end goal. I'm not trying to get a degree or prove anything, because once you have a goal, that means that you can reach something to where you stop. And I don't want to stop. I'd rather just continue what I'm doing, share it with people, talk with people, have discussions. I love having discussions. I love talking about deep stuff. Because it helps me reinforce what I believe.
Yeah.
Sometimes it helps me question things that I might be on the fence about, that I'm not sure about. I like having discussions about that because it kind of solidifies maybe my beliefs, what I used to believe, what I don't believe, those kind of things. And I want people to have that same kind of passion that I do with regards to just wanting to understand as much as possible.
I definitely agree, man. Like I was telling Jason, like when I was younger, like, you know, I was in high school, I was very like ignorant to like oh, why do I need to learn chemistry if I'm never going to be a chemist? That's the stuff I would say, you know? And thinking back, I'm like, man, like I wish like someone, like I wish I, like, not that I, like, it's weird because like I don't regret like doing stuff I did because I wouldn't have had the friends I had. Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have, like, I met Jason, like roasting him in the cafeteria or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's like a thing where it's like, man, like I could have been like sharpening my sword, or, you know, I could have been a jack of all trades earlier. Now I feel like I'm kind of like catching up and I'm, you know, a little behind in the race, and I'm just trying to learn it all now, you know?
I started late. I didn't start this whole journey when I was super young. Like, I was a kid just like everybody else. I was doing stupid stuff and making bad decisions and doing stuff I shouldn't do. But, you know, you grow up, your priorities change. Things that were important to you aren't important to you anymore, and you just become more aware of where you want to end up and what you're interested in, and things kind of evolve. So I mean, I started super late. This isn't anything that began when I was like super young. So I want people to know that too. I want people to know that no matter what age you are, you can pick up a book. You don't got to be a certain age to pick up any books. You can just start whenever you want and just grow from there.
That's
Boom.
awesome. Boom.
That's true.
That's awesome, man. Yeah.
I mean, I've been loving knowledge my whole life though. Like chemistry just stuck in my head. All the math stuck in my head. A lot of the history stuck in my head. Like I be remembering, I have flashes of like information in my head sometimes, bro. Like biology, bro. Like today, I don't know why I was sitting in my car and I started thinking, oh, actually that was because of a song that came on. It's called Photosynthesis. I just started remembering how photosynthesis works, bro. Like that's literally how what happened, bro.
Well, just like, because like you'll learn that, and you'll just be like walking around somewhere and you'll see a plant and you'll just understand. You'll just know where its energy comes from, where its food comes from, where its life force comes from. And it just brings you that little bit of joy that you know something that you didn't before. And that difference between knowing that once you didn't and now you do, I mean, it's happiness. It brings you joy to know that you've grown a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you have a better understanding of where all this is going, where it came from, and what it is now.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Because the way I think about like my life, I think of it like a movie, right? Like you know how on YouTube you can skip through? I feel like that's what life is. It's like going through the video like that. You know what I mean? And then you could like because you're learning and you're growing, you could like go back to like that time or whatever, and you could like reflect on, oh, it's not like, you know, similar to Jason, like because he was learning all this like biology, he could connect it like now that in the present time that he's living. And I feel like if you do that consistently, like if you're consistently learning and you're growing and growing and growing, there's gonna be like an endless amount of the reflection of that where, oh, that connects to this, that connects to this, that connects to that, and you're kind of like a joyful person like at the end because you're just always getting some wins, you know what I mean, on your side. That's, I don't know. It's like a.
And I mean, like use it because you're going to school for it. I would assume that you want to do a profession in it, so you want to do it for a living. So, I mean, to a certain extent, there is an end goal, which is to get some form of a degree, get a job, and then be able to pay your bills and live a life doing something that you are interested in and went to school for. So, I mean, the phrase that I always like is just make sure that you're working to live, not living to work. You know what I mean? And
Working to
as
live.
long as you stick by that, you're going to be all right.
Oh man, I gotta write that down. Working to live, not living to work, bro. Is that what you said? That's what you said, right? Working to live, not live. Bro, if anyone knows me, bro, I'm a big fan of quotes, bro. Like I like geek out, bro, for quotes, bro. I love that stuff, man.
You know what I think is cool is that one of like when we started this, like we had like some goals, right, of why we were starting this podcast, and one of them was to create basically like I don't want to say like an army because it's not an army, but it's like a
community, bro.
A community or like of thinkers, of people that like to learn and like to like get different perspectives on life. Like that's why we get all the random guests that we get. We have like, if you want to be a barber, you can learn about barbering. You want to be a firefighter, you can learn about firefighting. Personal training, fitness, all that. Want to learn about reading books and what books are good? Boom, you listen right here, bro. So I think that it's cool because you're on the whole other side of the country, bro. and we get to share a perspective and like talk to each other and learn from each other through this shit. And it's like I feel like my goal has been reached with this podcast right here, bro. Like I'm
no,
like
definitely, because this is where like a lot of the change is going to begin. It's because you're getting a lot of different viewpoints, a lot of different peoples, a lot of different beliefs, talking to each other and having conversations and discussing what they believe in and discussing issues. Like, this is where a lot of the change is going to start, is because you're going to bring together people that normally would not have talked to each other, that would have never had a discussion, that would have never shared a viewpoint or debated anything. Like, this is where, you know, you're going to get two people in here. I mean, I promise you guys do this long enough, you're going to have a guest on here that's going to completely disagree with you on a couple of things.
For sure.
You guys are going to have an open debate, and you guys are going to talk it out, and you guys are going to, you know, share your points of views. And then hopefully when you guys leave, you're the better for it, and you learn and you grow from it. And then that happens again and again and again and again. And the next thing you know, everybody's more on an even level and a better understanding of each other. I mean, like, that's the problem we're having right now, is nobody's talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
They have their viewpoint, and these have their viewpoint, and they're not talking about it, and they're not discussing it. They're steadfast in their ways, and conversations are super important to learn anything about other people.
True.
That's beautiful, man. I believe that till no end.
And at the same time, us talking about this and somebody else listening can get the same information, some sort of value out of it too. And you know, putting the light on some topics and listening to us. So I think, bro, that's why you gotta like, subscribe, comment some great shit. Because if you get into this community, you're gonna learn something. You're gonna learn some perspective from anybody, because that's what we're trying to do here. Literally.
I'm telling you, and you get to meet cool ass people, bro. Like, I'm telling you, like, I was like, Jason,
like,
I'm
this
telling
is
you,
literally the first time we've ever talked to you ever. Like, this is the first time I've ever met you. And we're just talking, and we've been just talking for hours, bro, about a bunch of random shit. Literally sports, music, books, like all over the place, bro.
And it's awesome, bro. That's what you gotta love about a conversation, bro. That the mind start working, and you start, oh snap, this is what I'm thinking of right now, bro. You know what I mean?
And you
start creating that web.
Relate.
Yeah, bro. Oh man, I love this stuff, man. Yeah, bro. It was an honor meeting you, bro. Like, I'm telling you, man. Like, Jason, I'm telling you, like, behind the scenes, bro. You're not supposed to know this, but Jason was like, you gotta follow this page, bro. This is like the best page on Twitter, bro.
I've been saying it. I've been telling you, bro.
Thank you.
And I was like, oh man, I'm hooked in already, bro, because I trust this man, you know. And if he's like, you know what, we gotta have this man on, I'm gonna try to have him on, bro. I'm going to believe, because he's so excited to have you on, man. It was awesome. I'm excited, bro. This was awesome, bro. I'm telling you, this was great. This is great shit, bro.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Like, I've never, ever done anything like this before in my life, and I've been super excited, waiting for this day, because I'm like, this is. I'll tell you something. This is an experience. I'll tell you that, because
sure.
I've never done anything like this ever, and it's fun. It's exciting, and I'm gonna learn from it. You know what I mean? Like, this was a blast. Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, man. Now, I'm telling you, if you ever want to come back on, bro, you're more than welcome anytime, bro. Like, and I honestly, like, I think, bro, this you're a natural, bro. Like, most people, when we tell them you're gonna be, no joke. Most people, when we tell them, like, yo, you're gonna be in front of a camera, we're gonna have some mics on, and it's gonna be like a little show, and we're just gonna dive into conversations, they kind of get a little stuck. We were, you know, and you were just, you know, just
flowing,
all about it, man. Yeah, and it was awesome, dude. So yeah, you definitely, man. I would, if you put a podcast or a YouTube channel or a show or something about all the great stuff, you know, man, I'm subscribing.
That's what I'm saying,
I'm
bro.
Liking, bro, and I'm commenting the great shit, bro.
Dude, like I'm saying, you got a lot of knowledge, bro. Like, even the bare minimum, bro, you should hop on this podcast every so often, just to release some of that knowledge you get, bro, because it's crazy. Like, I learned a lot. You gave me perspective, and I'm gonna keep going with my life with that new knowledge like that, bro. And
like, I genuinely want to read some books, learn some new stuff, bro, and then hop on a convo with you, man, and just talk about it, bro. That's how I feel, man.
Like, now I feel like this kind of was like us getting to know you. Like, next time I'm gonna come in with some ideas already ready. Yo, I want to talk about this, and we just talk about that. Boom, and it's gonna be smooth.
Yeah.
Dude, let's do it. I'm fully on board, man. I'll come back on whenever you guys want me to. This was a
That's
blast.
awesome,
You guys are
bro.
awesome.
Thank you, bro.
And yeah, dude.
Alright.
We should definitely do this again for sure.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it, man.
All right, yo, it's time for the messy moment.
Messy moment. Messy moment. Messy moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, oh man, this convo was the greatest. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, we are now in the messy moment, ladies and gentlemen. The messy moment is a time when we can reflect and we dive into the amazing conversation we just had. I mean, I'm shocked. This shit was so fucking good.
There was like literally went all over the place. Like a messy room, bro. That shit went sports. It went music. It went different kinds of books. It went about sociology, philosophy, literally all over the place, bro.
Whole bunch of stuff, man. This is definitely not the last time. This is awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a time where we could highlight something that we really want to highlight. This is something that our favorite part that we want to talk about. This is something that we want to just give you guys some extra knowledge out of all the shit that we said. It was fucking awesome. I'll say, ladies and gentlemen, out of everything that was said, this was just fun. This was awesome. Thank you again, bro. Much appreciated, man. You guys got to follow him on Twitter. Let the people know where they can find you on Twitter, bro.
On Twitter, I'm going to be at the Perp Polymath. That's ThePrep Polymath, POLMETH.
Boom, ladies and gentlemen. You got to follow him because I'm telling you, he is the jack of all trades and he's a beast, ladies and gentlemen. But something I just want to highlight was when we were talking about perspective, right? And learning other people's perspective and truly having an open mind to listening to another person's perspective because it can make you a greater person, right? Me, Jason, and the Perpetual, what is I fucked up.
Perpetual Polymath.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Perpetual Polymath, man. We all have different perspectives, right? But we had an amazing conversation, and that's what this world needs. We need to understand and learn from just all the perspectives that you could get and accumulate in this world. So that's just something I really want to highlight because that is something that I truly live by, you know? And I love this episode. This episode was fucking awesome. This is definitely not the last time.
Yo.
And boom, that's my messy moment.
All right. So my messy moment is right when we got into it, like I was realizing, bro, like this is exactly like if you listen to episode 1, season 1, we sound like idiots, bro, because we're like, but in it, we set our goals as to why we started this, and those goals still are always in the back of our minds. And one of them, like the whole reason I wanted to do this shit is because I wanted to get perspectives from so many different people. Like literally, this man lives on the other side of the country, 3,000 miles away. This man, look at there's sun out where he's from. It is pitch black where I am right now. But we had to have this crazy conversation and like get different perspectives, like Vic said, and build our own perspectives like that. And it really connects to like the whole reason like I wanted to do this shit is because, you know, I love philosophy, and Rene Descartes, bro, literally he like read mad books, and he was like, yo, I feel like I learned the most I can from books. I need to get my new perspectives on life from other people. And he started to talk to other people. He started to travel, do all this shit until, you know, he eventually locked himself up too. But he wanted to learn from other people. And I think this is the way I'm doing that same thing, bro. Following in his footsteps from learning from other people, doing this shit, bro. This is why I fucking love this shit, bro.
Beautiful,
yo,
brother. Beautiful,
thank you for coming on, bro. I threw a limb. I was like, yo, like it was a tweet about science or something like that, like how science gives us a good perspective on life. That really made me. I was like, dude, I need to have this dude on. This man literally is saying some crazy shit, bro. Like he needs to be highlighted, bro, by somebody. And I was like, yo, that somebody is us. So I was like, bro, yo, you want to be on? He was like, I'm down. I was like, let's fucking go. Let's get it. I've been waiting for this shit for literally like a month, bro. I've been thinking about this shit every day. I was like mad excited, and I'm glad we got to do this. And I'm hoping we can do this again and again and again, bro. Because As you learn, we can learn from you. And I feel like you need it. Yo, you can't be selfish, bro. You can't be selfish with your knowledge. Give it back, bro.
I'm sharing. I'll share. I'll continue to share. I got no problem doing whatever I can to help people learn, help people grow. That's what I'm here for.
Boom.
Awesome,
All right.
bro.
You can get into your next moment now.
So, you know, this podcast is awesome, man. Like, it's just like there's no boundaries, there's no restrictions. I mean, it's awesome. You know, you can talk about whatever you want. I love that we can share of go pick up a book, go read, go learn, discover. Because when you do all those things, when you learn more and you discover more, you can relate better with the world. You have a better understanding of just not only this world that we're in, but all the people that are in it. You know, when you get in these hard times, you got to be able to try and relate as best you can. And the best way to do that is to just learn anything: science, history, sociology, psychology, biology, everything. All of that helps. And the more you know and the more you learn, the more you're going to have a basic, fundamental understanding of this world we live in. And it's going to be better off for everybody. Everybody's going to be able to live in a better world because we're all have a better understanding of everything. And it's just this all-encompassing love of life, really. You know what I mean? And the more that we learn, the better that we can coexist, and we can all be equal. We can all be on the same level, and everybody can be as happy as possibly as they can be just through knowledge and learning. And that's ultimately what the goal should be for all of us, is just living better and being as happy as possible.
Boom, bro. Beautiful
bro.
shit.
Beautiful.
Yo, I hope somebody out there listened to this shit and you went out there, picked up a book. I went out there, started researching something, or or you gained a little bit more of a love for learning, bro. Because this is what it's all about, bro. Bro, yo,
I hope.
Ladies and gentlemen, like always, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, gems. Nothing but fucking gems.
Yo, this is a diamond right here, bro.
This is a fucking diamond that you guys need to fucking dissect and fucking listen to, because this shit was
honestly,
so fucking
you gotta listen
awesome.
to this shit like 10 times minimum, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm the one who fucking talked in it, bro. You know what I'm saying? But ladies and gentlemen, you gotta like, subscribe, and comment some great shit. Like always, you gotta follow us on the Twitter, follow us on the IG, follow us wherever the fuck we are.
Subscribe to us on YouTube, bro.
Yeah,
subscribe to us on the Apple
Rooms.
Podcast, whatever. Yo, we're everywhere, bro. If you're not listening to My Room's a Mess, you're slacking. It's minimum right there.
Give the Twitter again, man, just so that you could reiterate to the fans what it really is, bro.
So the Twitter is going to be at the Perp Polymath. That's ThePrepPolymath. The Perp Polymath.
You guys heard the man, so go follow him up on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, this was an awesome episode, and that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Woohoo!
We all say this. We say this at the end always. Ready? Check you later.
Check you later.
Check you later.
My guy. Boom. That's a wrap.